Russia, excellent. I don't even know how to pronounce that place. We got we got Pennsylvania, aka not all farmland, which is awesome. Good to see you guys have internet out there in Pennsylvania today. That is excellent. That's a joke. That was good. All right, so guys, we are right on time here, and looks like we are still filling in, and we are ready to go. And we are still filling. All right, this is gonna be a big call, guys. So, all right, so if you guys are you guys ready to go? I'm ready to go. If you can't tell by my excitement to share and divulge what we have in store for you. So let's see. If you guys are ready to go, let's see a big couple of yeses up on the screen, and we will start this show. We'll silence the mics, and then we'll get going here. Alrighty. Hey everybody, welcome to the State of Teespring Address. Trey Llewellyn here, and my sidekick, best of all buddies, Tony Tiefenbach, will be joining us on the call. So let's see if we have Tony here. Tony, are you there?
I am. Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you just fine. Can you guys hear Tony? Let's see a couple yeses like we hear Tony, and we'll rock that. Just make sure everybody else can hear you. Yes, we got Tony loud and clear. You guys can hear me. You guys can see the screen. I think we're green for go, Tony. You ready to rock?
Yep, let's hit that record button.
We are ready to go. All right, guys, so I'm going to be keeping an eye on the chat here as much as I can, but we got a lot of stuff to cover today. So, stick in your seat and get ready because it's about to go down. So what we're going to be looking at today is the new 5 foundational strategies you need to sell 5,000 to 10,000 shirts per month while building a long-term sustainable business. How's that sound? Is everybody game for that?
Trey, we've already got a typo, guys, man.
I know, I do. I have a typo.
$5,000 to $10,000 of shirts. No, that's not going to work. Might as well correct those as we go here.
Yeah, that is actually so. Yeah, so let's just kind of let these guys know. Like, this is totally like we're just pop out some slides here. As you can see, we're already on slide number 2, and we made one mistake. So you guys are gonna bear with us here. We got some mistakes that's probably gonna be going in. This is pretty much just a chill conversation we're gonna have with you guys, just as if we were sitting around a table and just kind of communicating with you. So bear with that. But that's what's so cool about this. This whole thing is totally unscripted, ready to rock and roll, and just share with some cool thought processes that we brainstorm every week, every month of how we run this business. Wouldn't you agree with that, Tony?
Totally. I mean, it's totally unscripted, guys. We're not trying to come in here and do some flashy presentation or anything like that. This is strictly a private training. It's a private conversation with the people that are in the Teespring T-shirt group. We're going to start rolling more stuff out, more tips, and help you guys throughout the year. And we thought, this would be a really good opportunity for us to get on the same page with you guys foundationally. I think at the end of the day, I think everybody here is probably beyond the bright, shiny object chasing strategy that we see a lot of people get wrapped up into. And, no matter what information we put out here today, we're not going to be able to put out enough in a 60-minute or a 90-minute conversation to solve every single problem that you guys have in your business. But what we can do is give you an awesome overview and big picture view and big picture perspective of what we're doing to sell 5,000 to 10,000 shirts a month, and what we're doing to do that on a consistent basis, and build a long-term business and sustainable income out of all this. And that was really our goal here versus having too many. You're going to see typos. I mean, we sell stuff online. We're not editors, we're not copywriters. We're two guys that, have found a good process, and we're here to share that with you and give you guys the foundational pieces for that. So yeah, man, for sure.
I love it. So if you want to just make sure you're turning off all your distractions. I know that's just kind of pretty easy etiquette for the webinars, but it's true. What's cool with GoToWebinar, it actually lets us know who's on the call and staying focused, and then who's going away and checking their email and Facebook. So we do watch that. I like to see who was basically full attention, the whole percentage. Because I know those are the real winners. Like those are the people who are in it to win it, and they're here to make changes happen in their life. Currently, we don't have any plans for a replay, so I don't know if we're going to have one up or not. So, guys, I can't make any promises on that. Secondly, we've been having a couple of difficulties with GoToWebinar, just recording the replays right now and then transcribing them over. So, it will be lucky if we get to keep it. I'll just put it that way. Secondly, this is just something I have to put out there. This is totally not a get-rich-quick strategy. So, if you guys think that, like kind of like piggybacking on what Tony just said, is if you feel like you're going to come in here and learn these strategies, and then in 60 minutes or 90 minutes, and then leave and go make crazy amounts of money, that's totally not it. Like this is a long-term strategy. We are building a foundation. We are building a business, and that takes time. That takes a little bit of time and engineering to become a success. So, but we're going to show you how to do that, right? We're going to show you all the trees that we chop down, and so you can walk that path very easily and gracefully. We do have a pretty cool resource that we're going to be giving away to all you guys at the end. So make sure you stay until the end to get that. That's going to be pretty sweet. Also, make sure you guys, if you do have to leave, don't like go out of the GoToWebinar and come back because we are totally full. And so I know our spaces are limited. So if you guys go away and then try to come back and you're not able to, I'm sorry because you might not be able to get back in. It might say like the webinar is full or something. I forget what the little box says there. And then one cool thing, one trait, and we're going to talk about this, Tony, later. I just want to put a note in here. But like that 6- and 7-figure earners have in common. Tony did a pretty cool thing that I want him to share on. So you guys definitely don't want to miss that. I was just like, that was mind blowing to me. And then lastly, the cool thing about this whole thing is we're giving it to you guys. We're here to help you and guide you and show you like what we've done. So we wanted to also take some time and put a buffer in at the end for some Q&A. So for some questions and answers, just saying, hey, what about this, or what about this, or can you see this, or just whatever you got, really. So make sure you're taking down notes and also put little side notes of whatever you got questions about. That way, when we hit that Q&A time, you can go back and be like, oh yeah, I had this question at this point. Can you help me on that? And that's what we're here for. So just so we're all on the same page, and I'm pretty sure everybody's on this page, but I just want to kind of hit this like within 2 minutes. You guys know what Teespring is, right? Does everybody know what Teespring is? You want to put a yes in the comments there if you guys know what Teespring is. Okay, perfect. Have you been doing Teespring? You understand the concept of Teespring, right? You design a shirt. You drive traffic through, say, Facebook or email launches, and then you launch the campaign, okay? Yeah, it looks like everybody's on this call like, yep, been there, done that. All right, so we don't need to hit on that very much. All right, so let's just kind of talk about me because I know we've kind of intercepted into the group, and I want to kind of give a minute here on just who I am. Who is Trey, or AKA Mr. On It? Got the nickname of a couple months back actually from a good friend, so been using it ever since. So we have a team here that we rock with, and it's just me and my brother really, and then a couple staff that help us out and rock some things. But basically, we sell between 5,000 to 10,000 shirts per month. So we are bringing and launching those shirts. Now, a lot of you guys might be like, man, how many shirts are you launching to sell that many shirts? Well, frankly, we really only realistically launch usually particularly 7 to 12 designs per month. Like we're not throwing 10 designs into the Teespring vault every week. Like we launch right at that. That's a great number right there, 7 to 12. It usually differs between a month or two and just a couple of digits back and forth. So we're selling, just so it's clear, 5,000 to 10,000 shirts with 7 to 12 designs. Okay. We actually hit our first 100K month in sales back in April. So I actually got a screenshot from one of the campaigns that was just like crazy awesome. Like we had so much fun with that campaign. It was a I believe it was a 10-day campaign back in April. Ended on May 2nd, and we sold like 6,100 shirts on that campaign. It was when I got that screenshot. So that was like totally awesome. Like we had so much fun rocking that campaign. And then lastly, what I love is I frankly just love teaching others how to do what we're doing successfully. That's what it's all about, right? Like you learn a path, and it's not something that frankly I want to hold close to my chest. Like I want to express and show, and I feel like you guys deserve to have somebody to lean on or to be under their wing and be like, hey man, like how do I do this? Like guide me, teach me. right? That's what makes the world go round is having other people who are successful teach those who still have, learning curves. And that's
Well,
what we're here to
Trey,
do.
yeah, and we get asked all the time too from people like, well, if you guys are selling so many shirts, why are you bothering teaching? Why aren't you just selling more shirts? And that's a great question, but it falls into a number of different categories. Or they'll say, aren't you afraid you're going to saturate the marketplace? And one category that falls into is just a scarcity mindset of, oh, if you tell everybody what you're doing, then there won't be any of the pie left for you, and that's just so not true. I'm a marketing consultant by trade, and a sales coach. Let's just say, if you wanted to label it, we'll just go that direction with it. There couldn't be a more saturated market online than how to make money online, or how to sell more stuff, or how to generate more leads. Like, a lot of people in a marketplace is just a good sign that there's money trading hands in that marketplace. Like, the thing you got to realize for us is, yeah, if there's a lot of other people, there might be a lot of other people in the industry, but 99% of them make no money and have no idea what they're doing. They don't know the stuff that we're going to share here today. And that's really important, because the other thing is we enjoy sharing this information. Like, we don't have a scarcity mindset. We're confident with the people that we bring in, or that we work with, that we're bringing in the right people who are going to do the right thing, who are going to go build their own business and build their own brand, and not really worry about what everybody else in the marketplace is doing. So, and like Trey said, we love giving this back. In other words, if somebody would have given us this pathway when we got started, man, that would have saved us probably $300,000 and a year's worth of hard work, to figure out. If somebody could have laid things out, as concise as we're going to here, and been around to mentor and help us, so we're happy, we're excited to share this with you guys. We have no scarcity mindset around it. We surround ourselves with the right people, and people that we enjoy working with, and it's a way for us to give back, and we're really happy to be able to do that. So, Trey, I just wanted to throw that in there.
That's awesome, man. Well, and that's good that people know why you're here, because it is you're a big part of this. You've been a huge part of bringing the success with us, and so I'm glad you're able to join the call today with us here. So how about we start rocking in on what you guys are here for? Because I don't like to put a lot of fluff in this. I just say let's get down to it. Like, let's start talking. So current trending problems. So I like to talk about what's happening out there right now, and something that, well, shoot, I was going to say something that we randomly see sometimes, but Tony, to be frank, I think we see this all the time. What we're going to cover here, these four, I think we have 4 or 5 big problems that we just, every time we get on a call with somebody, it's this. I'm like, it's just amazing what people think is right or have been taught is right. So, but first, the goal here is on this call is to learn how to start tipping multiple 300 shirt campaigns. Would you guys love to tip 300 shirt campaigns? Would that be something that would just that'd be super cool? How awesome would that be? Would that be something cool you guys would want to do? Yeah, life-changing. That's right. Awesome. Yeah, we got huge yeses coming in consistently. That's right. You picked up on one of those words that we have in there. So consistent basis. So not only just have one that tips 300, but we're talking consistent.
Yeah, when we train on this stuff and share this information, that's always our end goal. To teach somebody what they need to know to tip 300 shirt campaigns, to tip those campaigns on a consistent basis. But more importantly, a lot of what we're talking about here today is the foundational pieces. These are the new foundational pieces, the foundational pieces that we have in place to be able to do that and actually build a real long-term business out of this, and not just be chasing bright, shiny objects of multiple thousands of different niches and trying to sling a few shirts here and there, but actually, guys, we're all about building a real business out of this, and that's really important. But there's, I talk to a lot of people who are in Teespring every day. I mean, we talk to lots of people. We have lots of you guys reaching out to us, and there's really, inevitably, there's 4 things we see you guys doing on a consistent basis, and these 4 things are essentially what is being taught by most of the quote unquote Teespring gurus out there, and unfortunately, from what I can tell and from what I've been told, there's been a lot of programs that have come out on how to sell shirts, and I think there's a lot of people who have gone out and sold some shirts. They've sold 20 or 50 or 100 shirts, and then they suddenly became a Teespring guru. And you have far more people out there making more money teaching what they do to sell shirts than they actually are selling shirts. And it's kind of a play on words there, but it's very truthful. And what I think has happened is, because basically we're seeing the same information get regurgitated over and over and over again, and we just want to make these, we're calling them the trending problems that we're seeing, but these are really like the strategies that people are coming to us saying that they're using that aren't working, and it's really obvious why they aren't working, and we couldn't be doing more the opposite of what everyone in the marketplace is telling you what to do and teaching you what to do. So we thought there was a number of you that were like, hey, we want to know what you guys are doing, but there was also a number of you guys out there saying, what isn't working? Because I'm doing a lot of stuff that isn't working, and we thought it would be really cool to like go through, here's the strategies we continue to see over and over, and guess what? We haven't seen anybody successful with them yet. So we thought that would be really powerful, because if we're going to show you how to do 300 shirt campaigns and do those on a consistent basis and build a real business out of this, we've got to look at what's not working at the same time and get you guys moving away from those strategies and more towards what we're going to share with you.
You got it. You hit it on the nail there. So let's go over those 4 problems, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So first one. Okay. I don't know who typed that up there. I think it was my assistant. But Mickey Mouse is dead, guys. I'm unfortunately no surprise here. So what do I mean by that? So actually, Tony was the one who made the phrase up of Mickey Mouse trends. I wish I would have done it, not Mickey Mouse trends, but Mickey Mouse niches. And so like what is it like a Mickey Mouse niche? And those are the things like name campaigns or age campaigns, or I just turned 21, or I was born in 1985. What's another good one?
Occupations, states, countries.
Yep. I live in California, or I'm a real estate agent. What's your superpower? Those, like, I call those like little, and actually you call them little Mickey Mouse niches, and I just stole it from you, and I call them Mickey Mouse stuff now. But like, the thing is, like, if you guys are doing this, you are going down the wrong path. Like, if and there's a question that Tony's just so cool. This just came in, but he was like, he's saying, where'd he go? Oh, my problem is that I'm bombarded with different Teespring courses, and I really don't know how and where to start. And the good thing with that question, thanks Pete for that question, but that question is so core to this, because it's like, if they are teaching things like that, if the course is like, hey, I'm going to show you how to find the biggest, largest trends, or the shirts that are selling the most, like, that is not the shiny objects you want to go for. You want to go for with someone's like, man, this is a business. This is something I can sell. So I want to keep on track here, or else I'll get on tangents. But the thing is, like, don't be doing these little Mickey Mouse niches, like name campaigns, age campaigns, years born, states, countries, things like that. Another good one is last names, like Team Llewellyn or Team Tiefenbach.
Well, because the reality, guys, the reality of the situation is if you want to tip 300 shirt campaigns and do that consistently and build a real business out of this, you're not going to build a brand around the age 25. You're not going to build a brand around the year 1972. You're not going to build a brand around the word nurse. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are little strategies that you see people sell 20 or 30 or 40 shirts around, but they're not strategies that we're looking to build a business here and build a brand and build a community, and and create something sustainable and even sell other things besides shirts. And you're just not going to be able to do it in these types of niches. They're not scalable, and they're especially not scalable. The other reason is they're especially not scalable because most of these strategies were successful originally because of the ability to scrape user IDs. But guys, what has happened with the ability to scrape user IDs?
Oh gosh.
Paul says it's dead. It is dead. Like you will lose your Facebook account if you're scraping IDs. So, one, they don't work because you can't scrape anymore, but two, it was a cool little, opportunity to jump on to sell some shirts, but it was never anything that was going to be sustainable. It was like the strategy was like find something that works and then just change the state or change the number or change the year or change the name. But you're really not ever building anything there. And the strategies aren't working very well anymore around that, and it's definitely not anything that's going to get you into sustainability and scalability, which is what everyone's telling us that they're looking for. So Trey, I'll turn it back to you.
Well, you tiptoed around something, and I think we need to stomp on it real quick. Is if you are using one traffic source, and that traffic source is Facebook or YouTube or Pinterest or Instagram or whatever, and you go against their terms of service, which scraping was and still is to this day, you have the chance of it getting banned, like you getting your account deleted, like wiped out. And the thing is like if that is your income, if that is what's holding the roof above your head, and you go against these terms of service by following some shiny object that someone didn't prove true, and that Facebook is now gone, like you are SOL, right? Because that's a huge pillar that just got knocked out underneath you. And so I think Tony, I really wanted to make that a reality of, because that has happened. That has happened to successors of ours. That's happened to friends of ours because they've gone against and done black hat stuff or gone against terms of service. And overnight, I mean, it's not like you go through trial or anything. Like you just wake up one morning and your account's gone. And you can't go through statistical data. You don't have access to your accounts. Like, it's scary. And
you're out of business.
You can't. Facebook put up the sign for you. You're going out of business. Well, I'm gone and went out of business. So yeah, and like everybody's shooting here. They're like, yeah, you're out of business. It's all gone. Yeah, exactly. So you guys know about this stuff. So I think we hit that one pretty on the head there as well.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
This one is another one that we see, and this kind of ties into the Mickey Mouse stuff, but the trend chasing, man. I mean, you had the best story on this one, Tony. Like this one, I love just sitting down with you and just listening to the story because it's so funny, but yet it's I know it's funny, but then again, it's so true and it's a reality that's actually happening that people are still doing. And when I'm talking about trends, it's like gurus are telling people to go after what's trending in the marketplace. Let's just go over it. Let's just do the NBA one you did.
Well, yeah, I mean, another strategy that we're seeing regurgitated in the marketplace is people saying that look up what's trending in the market. So we could be talking about the NBA playoffs or World Cup soccer, like something that's hot right now. But the problem is if you're doing the NBA playoffs, you're doing World Cup soccer or something like that. The difficult thing, Trey, I'm getting a lot of feedback on behind the scenes on your side of things.
Is it? So I don't hear anything on my side. So you keep talking. I'm gonna call in.
Unless somebody's unmuted. I don't know if it's coming from somewhere else.
I don't hear the feedback. So I don't know who else it would be. So I'll call in, and then you just keep on chit chat and tell your story here.
Okay. So yeah, as far as trend chasing goes, guys, I had a guy, for example, I had a guy reach out to me one time, and he was like, hey, I'm trying to sell San Antonio shirts. They were in the NBA Finals and he's like, I think I got a targeting problem. And I was like, well, how do you know you got a targeting problem? He's like, well, nobody's buying my shirts. And I told him, I said, dude, you got a bigger problem because guess what? The NBA playoffs are going to be over next week, and you're going to be out of business. And that's just that. You don't have a business. You're trying to jump on a quick little trend that you can sell a few shirts. But at the end of the day, if when that trend is over, when the NBA playoffs are over, when that thing that's going through the news is over, when the World Cup soccer event is over, once again, you're essentially back out of business again, and you're back trying to figure out, what am I going to do this week? What am I going to do this month to actually create a winning design and find the shirt that's going to sell? You know, that's not what we're doing. Like we want to be having you look at, you know, markets that have been around a long time, that you can actually build some sustainability around and do something long term with. You know, when you're just out trend chasing, it puts you right back into that internet marketing, bright shiny object chasing, that is what's probably for a lot of you wearing you out. And so we want to also bring that to light and start moving you guys away from you know, looking at all the next little trend to chase, and start moving more towards, you know, something that's more sustainable. Trey, are you back on?
I am back on. Can you hear me?
Cool. Yep.
Cool. I do hear that clicking now, though, that you're talking about. So
yeah, I'm gonna look while you go into the next one here and see if there's anybody unmuted here.
Okay. So we got that one covered. So now let's head on to this one, which is what I like to call the I Spy. I think this is hilarious. So I Spy. This is another thing that like gurus are going after, and this is something that I've seen a lot of you guys look for or come to or are doing, and it's just like, you know, we got Captain Sparrow over here to the right, and then we have, you know, the guy designing this piece. I thought this actually was a great picture for this stuff. But what we've seen is people are going to TView or searching on Teespring or Google, and what they're doing is they're looking for like what's selling, and basically, you know, they're knocking that off is what's going on. Which, man, like it's like I was talking to you, Tony, about this, where, you know, if you went to Shark Tank and pitched this type of business, right? You're like, what? Well, tell us how your business is structured. Well, I go online and I see what's the best selling shirt, and then I copy it, and then I post it on Teespring. Like that is not going to be a winner. I think they'd probably escort you out rather quickly on that business, because the thing is, like, guys, and this was great. I love reading the chats because people are following along so great here. One guy was saying, let's see, where'd it go? It was just like, yeah, like that's quick cash, right? It is quick cash. But once that trend, or once that, you know, that T-shirt's gone, then you're off trying to find the next one. Like, you are not building a business, and that's what we're here to preach about, is how to properly build a business, build something with a foundation, something that's going to realistically keep on building for you in bringing in, you know, income resources.
Well, and not only is just kind of ripping off people's designs a bit morally wrong, because, I mean, do you guys want your designs ripped off? You know, it's almost like, are you feeding into the culture of the industry that you don't like most? You know, so one, it's kind of morally wrong a bit, but more importantly, the bigger problem, guys, is you have no idea what went behind selling the shirts that you're copying. In other words, you look and you find a shirt that sold 800 or sold 1,000, and you're like, all right, I'm going to just do my version of that shirt. You have no idea what actually went behind selling those 800 shirts. That person might have spent $30,000 on ads in multiple, on Yahoo and Bing and Facebook, and lost their ass off on that shirt. Like, that could literally be a horrible design, but they put so much money into it that the numbers look good, but the shirt was a terrible design and didn't sell well at all and had no ROI. Or the person, let's say, might have an email list of 500,000 people, and he only sold 800 shirts, and that would be a horrible conversion, which means the shirt's probably not that good. And now all of a sudden you're taking it out with a $50 a day ad budget, and you're wondering why you sold two. You know, so you never know what exactly is going on behind the scenes if you're doing the I Spy strategy. And once again, if you do find something that sells, and we've seen people find stuff that sells, the market gets saturated with that specific design pretty quickly. And then once again, you're right back to, all right, what do I do next? Where's the next trend? Where's the next I spy I can go after? And you're just right back in that rat race again of trying to figure things out.
Mhm. Mhm. That's exactly right. And so I'm gonna. You want to see if you mute your phone if that goes away, that little clicking, and
Me?
I'll let you know. Yeah, I'll let you know if it's yours.
Yeah, I don't hear it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe if you don't hear it, then because I definitely hear it on my side, and we're getting a couple people saying that they hear the clicking. So yeah, so that is huge, like the iSpy deal right there. That's massive. So let's move on to this last one. And this last one is, one of my favorites to talk about because, well, again, we've developed these little terms that we kind of poke fun at, but the big thing here is the wet noodle effect. What is that? And Tony, you can come back online. That clicking's still here. So I apologize, guys. It's just GoToWebinar, it seems. So it's just something we're going to have to deal with today. Poor GoToWebinar. So sorry, guys. So here we go. So let's talk about this wet noodle. So what is it? What is the wet noodle? The wet noodle is when you are launching like 10 designs. You're getting 10 designs created, and then you're taking all those 10 designs and you're launching them to Teespring. So not only are you doing that, but then you're pushing ads to each T-shirt to see which one's going to sell, and then if and though it does sell, you're scaling that one and then shutting off the rest. Now, to really quickly, like mathematically prove this type of I don't know what you'd call it, just a way of trying to do T-shirt strategy. Yeah, that's a great term. Like let's just say that you pay $50 per a design. So you did 10 designs, that's $500. And then you put $100 at each T-shirt, you're already $1,500 in the hole before you even realize which one is converting, if and though it will convert. And then let's say hypothetically you find a converting shirt, you still have to make up the $1,500 plus the additional ad spend that you're going to spend to scale it before you're ever in the green. And like Tony, you were talking about this earlier, where companies don't work on debt. Companies build by profit.
Right. You're like trying to build a business by constantly trying to dig out of a hole because you're launching 19 campaigns to find one that sells 50 shirts while the other 19 failed, and you've got money wrapped up in the designs of those failed designs. You've got money wrapped up in the ads of those failed designs, and you're basically just gambling because if your strategy is to create 5 shirts a day that you have no idea if are going to sell, and then create 5 ad campaigns a day and drive good money and good traffic to shirts that you have no idea if are going to sell, and you're doing that every day, and then waiting for one to start selling and then killing the other campaigns. When people are reaching out to us, they're generally saying, hey man, I'm spending good money on 19 campaigns to find one shirt that sells, but the shirt that sells I have trouble scaling, and I'm just slowly bleeding money. And they're constantly trying to dig out of that hole to a point at which they either throw their hands up and say this doesn't work, or they're coming to us saying I'm just running out of money. I can't keep doing this. I can't keep spending money and not getting a return. Where in reality, profitable businesses, they're running as much of their expenses through cash flow than just going out and continuing to spend money to find a way to make cash. And that's what we want to begin to move you guys away from is to stop spending money to find what's going to sell and start putting some better processes in place and some better strategies in place to know what will and won't sell before you even get to that point. We'll talk about that here in a minute. But that's really the key here. This whole wet noodle strategy of, well, I'm just going to design a bunch of things and throw it against the wall, and if something sticks, cool, great. And if something doesn't stick, then I'm going back to the drawing board. If you look at the foundation, if you look at the global strategy that is being taught on Teespring, it would be if you wanted to make $100,000 a month, that you would go make $1,000 a month in 100 different niches. And you would just be throwing as much spaghetti against the wall as you possibly can to see what will stick and what won't stick. And if you happen to have 15 years of affiliate marketing experience and you've been online for 10 years and you've got a big budget to float all that work, and you've got a gigantic team in India to help you create all that, like most of the people that are teaching it, you're good to go. But when you're like us, and you're trying to break out of corporate, and you're trying to get out of the 9 to 5, and you're trying to scale intelligently, those strategies are just leading a lot of people down a rabbit hole that they can never climb their way out of. And quite frankly, Trey and I are just really tired of seeing it, and that's why we've gotten more and more vocal about it here in the recent present time here, because we're so tired of seeing you guys spend money, and we got tired of spending money on certain things, and we want to evolve out of that. Like that's why these are the new foundations that we're building. Like, guys, these are all the old foundations that we've gone through here that I'm not saying, like somebody said, well, I heard somebody on a call the other day saying to do that, and they're having success, and that's cool. Like, I'm not saying these 4 strategies that we shared with you won't, you will sell shirts doing those, but we haven't seen anybody without the 15 years of internet marketing experience, without being a professional affiliate, without having a gigantic team, without having the resources to design 10 shirts a day and waste money on ads on 10 different campaigns a day to scale. We haven't seen anybody who doesn't have that ability to do that have any success with those strategies whatsoever. The only thing we've ever seen people have success with beyond those strategies is when they were able to scrape for names and things like that. Or they were in the sporting niches. There were people having a lot of success in the sporting niches, but we know what happened there. Copyright infringement, Teespring taking shirts down, people losing their profits, getting no further action from, or cease and desist, from attorneys of these ball clubs, and that's just kind of turned into a hairy thing too. So, guys, we just bring this up to show you, look, we know where you guys are. We know what's going on out there, and there is a better way. There really is a better way here.
Mm-hmm. I got to read some of these comments while you're talking. I was reading through these, and they're yeah. So let me just kind of hit on them. Let's see. So yeah. So kind of the point where I've been at. So this is Michael. He's just breaking even. We got Red here, where he said he actually paid $300 for a training that teaches this method. We just gave that method away, so everybody just you can thank Red for that $300. And so later on, I think he was still typing, but he said it was awful. He used other words, but it was pretty awful, he said. And then we have Josh, who said, I would actually break even usually. Can't stay in a business like that if you're just breaking even. And then we have Josh, another Josh here, that says, I'm a wet noodle. So he's raising his hand saying he's been doing the wet noodle thing. So this is huge stuff. And then yeah, Brian's saying, hey, what's a better way than that? Because that's the 4 ways that I've known to sell shirts here. So hopefully there's something else. So we got Laura saying that she knows someone who's paid over $5,000 for private training on just these strategies alone, all of which we just proven inefficient. So Tony, I just want to say, like, just directly talk to everybody on the call right now. Just say, wouldn't it be cool, like, if there were just like a couple solutions? I mean, the big thing here is like, oh man, like, are we doomed? Like, you just went over the 4 things that I do, because like all through this chat, Tony, it's like, man, I do that. Oh, that's not good. That doesn't work. Oh, geez. Like, that's what everybody's starting to realize here and pinpointing stuff. And it looks like, a lot of people are still at lunch, which means they're still doing the corporate thing, which, they're trying to make it out. So the big thing here is, is there a solution? Is there something that can feed this? And I mean, wouldn't it be cool, guys, like if there was just a couple of solutions that just made this like totally simple to like avoid, and ultimately allow you to not only sell 300 shirts, but like to scale those shirts from 300 to 1,000. Maybe you guys have seen our little posts we've been doing, but of people, of students becoming in the club. We call it in the club, and they sold 1,000 shirts in one campaign. Would that be something that you guys would be interested in seeing? I mean, is that something that you would like for us to share or divulge here on the call? I mean, you guys know what I mean. I mean, how cool would it be if all you had to do was design, like, think about this, like 1 shirt a week, and it sold 300 or more every time all the time. So that's 4 shirts, 300 shirts, or 4 shirts, and then 300 on each campaign. I mean, what would your life look like if that was a reality in your world? If you didn't have to spend money, I mean, here's even a better one. Like, if you didn't have to spend money and time creating 5 to 10 shirts per day, and not only like to create those shirts, but then have to like manage 5 to 10 campaigns a day. Like, that right there is just pretty tough in its own right. Just kind of doing this wet noodle effects, right? So yeah, I'm getting, oh yeah, then with the chat. Okay, so like, absolutely, scaling is my #1 issue, says Jeff. Randy says, you know I'm in. So Randy wants to rock and roll. We got Rogers saying that would be awesome. Sounds great, brilliant. That's what you said you'd be teaching. So bring it. That's awesome. Oh, here we go. Luke wants to be in on the 1,000 Club. Yeah, man, let's get you there, buddy. So let's go ahead and hit that. So here's kind of the thing that we found after spending a good amount of money with all of the types of training and shirts that we've launched over the course of just last year, and looking at what we've learned and valued and taken notes and drastically like studied the analytics from all the campaigns that we've brought to the table. And that's what the point of this call is just to share with that. I mean, I would love, Tony, I'm game if you're game, but to share like just the nuggets that consistently sell these 300 shirts.
Yeah, like guys, like these are the foundational backbones of what we have in place to do this. This is specifically the stuff that we're focused on in our business. We're focused on with our mentees. Like, we're focused on every single day. Like, these are the backbones of building a sustainable business out of this, and we're super excited that you guys are excited to hear it. And let's just go ahead and jump in here, Trey.
All right, sounds good to me. So let's see. So the first thing is the foundational piece. #1, because we said the name of this training is the 5 foundational pieces of our what we do. And the thing is, like, you guys, like, we might go over one of these foundational pieces. You might be like, oh, that's too simple for it to work. But guys, like, the question should be is like, why can't it be that simple? Because it really is. Like, there's so many people doing so many crazy things that it's just like, keep it simple. And it's amazing. Like, these little simple tools that we're going to show you create the masses of success that you can launch in your campaigns. So the first one, I don't know if you guys have seen Limitless, but it's an amazing movie. That's why I stole this picture from. But Limitless market niche. So think of the Limitless pill, and now that pill is your niche, like it's your marketplace. And so I think we should just sit here for a minute, Tony, and just kind of talk about what that looks like.
Well, yeah. Yeah. I mean, when we're talking about finding your limitless market niche, we're not talking about getting into 100 different markets. We're selling 5,000 to 10,000 shirts a month in one basic market. That whole strategy of, hey, if you want to make 100,000 a month, you got to make $1,000 in 100 different niches. Guys, we're doing the exact opposite of that. We're building a business and we're building a brand within a marketplace, but you've got to understand, #1, how to identify what markets have the ability to do 300 shirt campaigns and do those on a consistent basis. And you want to know if that market's large enough, it has an audience size large enough to support the lifestyle that you want and deserve. And you want to know that, whether or not that market is just a trending market or what specifically to look for to tell whether or not that's a trending market or something that's been around for years and is going to be around for years. Like, we want to get into long-term sustainable markets that we can build a business out of, that we can build a brand around, so that we can stop trend chasing and Mickey Mouse hopping and eye spying and wet noodling our way through this and actually, get into a business and build a brand and build a product suite and build consistency into your business. So when we're talking about finding a limitless market niche, we're talking about getting into a marketplace that can support 300 shirt campaigns and support those on a consistent basis. But it's also limitless in the fact that, if you're in a market that has been around and is sustainable, and you're finding that people have proven to be buyers and they're willing to pay for shirts, Trey, what's that lead to? they're willing to pay for a lot of other things too. Like we can start offering other products and services beyond the shirts that can ultimately help you scale your business on the back end too. And that's a really big piece. I'm not sure we're gonna have a whole lot of time to go into that piece of it, but that's a whole nother conversation of what you can sell people on the back end of the t-shirt sales, right?
Oh yeah, t-shirts. I had a student say this, like we were having a conversation. I was just on conference, and I got to sit down with one of our students, and we came up with probably one of the most pronoun adjectives for the Teespring thing, and we're looking at it as Teespring is literally the gateway drug to internet marketing. Because once you get a little bit of a whiff of Teespring, and it's like, man, this works. Like I can make money with this. That opens up a huge world to you of all the other stuff that's out there to sell. Because not everybody wants to buy a T-shirt. If you can look around the world today and look at just people's outfits, not everybody's wearing a T-shirt. Everybody's wearing all kinds of different stuff. They also buy different things. So yep. Teespring is just the gateway drug to what is coming for you guys, and that's what's so cool. But we're here to talk about Teespring today. And the one thing that you're talking about, Tony, is, you know, not only are we doing 300 shirt campaigns, but we're choosing markets that can withstand those type of volume. And I wanted to make sure that people understood that we're not searching like interests with 20,000 people in it. That's been a lot of, I think, some other training out there where it's like, hey, go find an interest with like 10,000 people in it, or 20,000 like, you know, dog lovers, or, you know, Labrador lovers of a certain breed, of a certain kind, of a certain age. And we're not doing that. We're going over to the big boys. Like we're looking at, you know, million size audiences. And that's who we're targeting, that demographic. And we're creating our avatar so well that we're able to dynamically specify our avatar. And that's what makes it so well converting. And so, you know, I just want to hit on that because we're not going after these little niches. We're going after big niches, big foundational ones that can withstand the big shirt campaigns, the big launches, the big product launches. And that's the big aha moment for you guys here on this Limitless is don't go after the small stuff, right? Go after the bigger interests, and that's what's so relevant here. And Tony, like, yeah.
What advice do you have then? Like, what's really the secret sauce that you're teaching? Like, tell them what we're really doing to, you know, begin to identify what those markets are.
Okay, so all right, I guess we can reveal that, can't we? So.
Oh, and there's a typo. Foundationals, FOUN.
Oh, good Lord.
You know what? We get paid to sell, not spell.
Yeah.
But that's all right, guys. We apologize.
Did you just make that up? There we go.
I did. That's one of my favorite sayings because I don't spell worth a darn either.
I'm an awful speller. Like that is. But yeah, I don't get paid to spell. I make more money with my misspellings than I do with the correct punctuation. My English teacher would be so well. But anyways, back to your question. Let's don't pretend we're jumping around the bush here. We'll actually dive in. So, you know, I actually have three things that I'll share. I'm making notes here real quick. But the one big thing that was a big aha to our business was when we were searching for like who we were going to go after. There's an actual physical location in each city that holds these massive niches, and it's like almost like a Rolodex of information to where it's just like it's right under your nose. You don't even see it. And would you guys like to know like where that huge Rolodex of niches is? To where it's just like, hey, do you want a withstandable niche that can sell 300 shirts or more a week and provide you, you know, long-term revenue? Yeah, well, I must have missed the chat here. I just went like crazy. I had to scroll here a little bit. We're going to have to go over this to get some questions. But yeah, okay. So, there we go. Somebody got it. Barnes & Noble, that's correct. Barnes & Noble is where we go to find our foundational footprints. So our footprints, our starting foot, starts at a Barnes & Noble or a like the other bookstores that are out there. And what we're looking for is we're going there to look at the magazine racks. And the magazine racks are what hold I don't know if you'd almost say like, you know, the cup to what is available to you. Because the biggest thing here is you go to these magazine racks, and magazines aren't in business if there's not a withstandable like structure behind that. If there's not people that are in that niche consistently and are like overwhelmed with that passion, like they're extremely passionate about whatever that magazine is, like that magazine would not exist. So it's a great sign that you can go after that niche, and there's a pool of people who would just love to buy whatever products you put in front of them. The thing is, all you got to do is get in front of them, right? So yeah, that's huge. Paste link. Edward, there is no link. It's a physical location. It's called Barnes and Noble. If you guys don't live in the U.S. and you don't have a Barnes and Noble, they're online. You just go to barnesandnoble.com, or another good place, Tony, what I search for is on Amazon. I look on Amazon at the magazines. Pat said, why not Amazon? Pat, that's great. Yeah, we look at Amazon too. We go to the magazines and Amazon. We look there, and so we start searching, right? We start looking for all these niches. And here's number 2 for you. Is what I do with those magazines is I get about 20. So I not only look at these magazines, I get 20 magazines, and then I buy a subscription to the top 3 of which I like. Now, if there's multiple magazines on that niche, then I buy, the 12 months of each magazine. So I'll go and grab the magazines for all top 3, and I just start divulging into this information. And yeah, everybody's like, man, that's a great idea, genius, awesome, never would have thought of that. Holy crap, that's gold right there. Yeah, guys, like this is huge. So like not only do we get the magazine.
A lot of times, Trey, people will even ask like, well, what? There is so many options. Like, which do I choose? And you've said this all the time. You choose what you're passionate about. Choose what you have affinity with. Choose choose a market you know something about. Choose a market that you're going to enjoy running a business around. Not spying on what somebody else is doing or trying to make a quick buck or here or there, but we're here to create a business. Like, what is something that you have knowledge around? What is something you have expertise around? What is something that you enjoy listening to and talking about and being in conversation around? What you're saying about passion, like something that, was it your dad that said something to you, or what was that? Do you find something that you're passionate about?
Yeah, like what could you talk to me or you about for like 5 hours, just nonstop, just straight up, like hardcore, deep down passion talk. Like I could talk to you about remote control helicopters. I absolutely love flying those little guys. It's like a huge passion. Like I could just, get all juiced up and jazzed on remote control helicopters. Or my dad, he loves boating. So he could talk days. Not if not boating, he would love to talk about Jeeps. Like he just loves Jeeps. So like that's his passion, right? His passion isn't like scuba diving, right? Like he has no clue how to scuba dive. He doesn't know the first thing about scuba diving. So even though there might be a magazine on scuba diving, I would suggest he stays away from that, because just even the buzzwords of how they talk is going to be so of a superior level to learn that in an amount of time to be successful. You go after something that you enjoy. Like why? Like you're getting in business to have fun, right? Like have fun with it. Make this something that you enjoy. That's pleasant to wake up in the morning and be like, hey, I get to go talk about what I love doing. Like there's nothing better than that.
Totally.
Right. So I said there's going to be 3. So let me say the third one here. So you almost hit on it too, Tony, where you're saying, okay, well, like, okay, I got 20, and maybe you guys are like passionate about 20 things, which you've blown my mind there. But if you're passionate about 20 things, it's kind of hard to say, okay, well, what's the top 3? Like, how do we know what's the most valuable? Like, what's going to bring in the most income? What's the most trending? Well, what I like to use is a free tool online called Google Trends. You can just Google this, Google Trends, and I type in the niche into Google Trends, and I watch the lines. Like I look to see what's trending. Like if I would do fishing and scuba diving, right? I would put all those in, and I'd see, okay, well, scuba diving looks like it's on an upward trend, where maybe fishing's on a downward trend. Because you want to catch something, you don't want to ride the wave, you want to catch the wave. So Google Trends will allow you to see that and allow you to do that. But I will do a fair warning here real quick, is make sure when you're typing something in that it's not something else. And I've forgotten the example, but it was like a guy's name. which it was like, I don't know, like let's say Tom Ford, but we were looking at the car versus this guy named Tom Ford, which used to be a political representative. So we were seeing spikes on Tom Ford when we thought it was, when in our mind it was like the car, but it was actually representing a political person. So just make sure when you're using Google Trends that when you put in like Cardinals, okay, like I know that from St. Louis, Cardinals, that's a bird. But when I'm looking at Cardinals, I'm thinking the St. Louis baseball team. So
well, we had one person reach out. He was a barber, and he wanted to do a barber page.
Maybe that's
and guys, there's a whole litmus test of things that we take a niche through, multiple things that we look at to say, okay, this is good, or this probably isn't as good. And the one guy came to us, and he was a barber, like he cut hair for a living, and he was super excited because his litmus test turned out fabulous. And he was like so pumped to get started, getting into the barber niche. And Trey got on the phone with him, and they had a discussion, and he was surprised. I remember he telling me this. He was surprised at how good everything looked. And when they dug into it a little bit more, all the things that were popping up around barber were really Tiki Barber and Rondé Barber, or Rondell Barber, or whatever his twin brother's name is, who were two NFL. One was a defensive back, one was a running back in the NFL. One of them was now a sportscaster. And all of that metrics and all these different things that we look at as a litmus test to know whether it's a good market to go into or not was all skewed because it was these guys' last names that they were all searching. And it would have been disastrous if we had spent 3 months with him helping him build this up, and teaching him how to do these shirt campaigns around a topic that probably couldn't have supported it, you know. So what Trey's saying is just, Trey, I think you're behind a slide. I think we should be up one more slide, but on number 14. But so make sure you're definitely paying attention to what those trends are there. So.
Exactly. So voila, I've again spelled foundational wrong, so that's going to be throughout the PowerPoint for all you spell checkers. But the thing is, like, that's exactly right. That's the exact example I was thinking about. I just couldn't nail it, and thank you. See, I knew there was a reason to have everybody on the call here today because everybody remembers different things, and I just can't remember it all, guys. So that is the exact story I was thinking of when telling that. But yeah, that's a fantastic story because it's so true, and it's like, man, who would have known that it was a football player? And how we figured it out was in Google Trends, there's little ticks. Like you'll see a little tick that says like A, B, or C, and they're like little spikes in the trend. And if you hover over those spikes, it'll actually show you like a little bit more information of like where that spike came from, and that's how we found that out. So so does everybody understand like those top three things of finding the passion? Like does that help? Like magazine racks. There's Michael's on here asking like how many people are going to the magazine store after this. I love going there. Like I search all the time, even when I'm in the airport waiting on planes. I'll go. They always have like these little magazine racks, and I'm always like just like skimming it just to figure out like what's the next thing that's happening. So there's never a dull moment in the magazine stores. And then the 20 over 3, finding the 20 niches that you're going to go with, and then choosing 3 of those, and then the trends via Google. So yeah, 20 over 3 is 20 niches, and then picking 3 of those 20, and then the trends. So I think we've gotten pretty good. Did I do anything? Were we going to talk like the plague of businesses or anything on that?
Oh no, we can come to that later.
Okay.
Well, let's keep moving here. We're an hour in, and we want to definitely leave time for Q&A and some resources.
Oh yeah. Like jeez, time goes by fast. Thanks for all you guys for sticking on this call. I know we didn't really say how long it's going to be, but yeah, we are already an hour in here. Okay, so
hopefully this is good stuff. Hopefully you guys are liking this.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So like I said, this is just kind of a conversation we're having with you guys, and just kind of showing you a little bit of what we're doing, or exactly pretty much what we're doing, and opening the doors and letting you guys in to see how it's really supposed to be done. Like, what does the core look like, and putting it into as layman terms as we can, so it's understandable by all. So anyways, I think this is a key metric to our, man, we're only on foundational piece number 2, are we? Okay, so.
Well, we're just going to over-deliver here, so hopefully you guys enjoy it. So.
Yeah, hope you don't have anywhere to go. Okay, so raving fans, man, talk about a really cool thing. And I think I was really talking about this one when I said that earlier. When you know, if there's like a little small key point that's like, man, that just seems too easy to make a difference, significant difference. This is a very easy key, and it's a no-brainer key, but this can make you or break you in the business of just having raving fans, of people who just like love, I call it know you, love you, trust you in the community. I mean, it's a community of people who are like, man, I love fishing, and all you talk about is fishing, and I love talking about how to make lures and how to cast poles. And you know what's funny is on the plane, I just got off the plane, Tony, and this dude actually brought his fishing pole on the plane. He was going to like Florida. But like that is an avatar right there of an avid fisherman who's like, I don't care about my luggage, I don't care about my book bag, but I'm taking this pole on the plane with me. Like nobody's getting this pole. Like that's how true of a fisherman this dude was. And so, anyways, it's people who know you, know your page, love you, they trust you, right? And when I say trust, they're willing to give you a credit card over the internet. That's huge. Like for someone to take out their credit card, like think of that for just a second. Like for someone to actually take their credit card out of their wallet and enter all of their personal data, name, phone number, email, shipping address, and credit card information into a form that they really don't know where it goes, that's a lot of trust. That's a lot of trust there. And so for you guys to have that is huge. And that's what we build. We build that trust through a raving fan base. And the other thing is you want to have a raving fan base because when people come along, you want them to be excited and to be like, hey, this is awesome. So I always tell the story of the pizza shop story here. And Tony, I know you're kind of familiar with this one. You probably can almost tell it as well as I do. I've heard it so many times, but it's a good one. And the thing with this is, you know, like when I was in when I lived in Hannibal, Missouri, this pizza store came in, and it was new to the joint. I mean, Hannibal's like a small town, like 18,000 people. So anything new was just like, oh, that's cool. Like, you know, rumors started and gossip started, and it was all like whatever. And this pizza store came in, and you know, it started like putting in the chairs and putting in the tables and putting in the bar and putting in, you know, the food and you know, the Cisco trucks were coming to deliver, and the lights are starting to come on, and then finally the day where the open sign came on. And like everybody just rushed to this restaurant, and it was so full and so packed, and everybody's just like, you know, drinking and eating pizza and just having a great time. And like, I mean, there was literally a line. I remember this. There was a line of cars just up the street, just trying to get a parking spot into this place. And the thing with that is like, okay, so that's really exciting because as I'm driving by, I want to be inside that pizza store. Like I want to be, you know, involved in the conversation and being able to eat with these guys. And it's just a cool little, because that pizza place now has raving fans, right? But if I was to drive by and like the lights are dim, there's like 0 cars in the parking lot, maybe some like cigarette butts on the sidewalk or something, and you can't tell if it's like open or not open, and like you may see a chair in there, might not. Like you're probably not going to approach that pizza shop the same way as if cars are coming down the line, people are roaring outside, people are inside partying and having a good time. You guys like, does this make sense to you guys? Like, is this yeah.
You know,
okay, so let's hit on this real quick. So the same thing applies to your fan pages. This is why this is heavy. A lot of you are just creating a fan page to sell a t-shirt. And a lot of you are creating a fan page and filling it with beautiful content and quality content where you have roaring fans. Do you see the difference? Like raving fans aren't gonna come to a page that just shows a t-shirt for sale. They want to have quality content. They want to have something to read, something to devour. Does that make sense to you, Tony?
Totally. You know, so guys, can you see this starting to form a little bit here? You know, one, we're moving on all the crazy Mickey Mouse type niches and trend chasing and spaghetti splatting, and we're looking for, you know, number one, a market that we can build a sustainable business in, and one that will support 300 shirt campaigns and support those on a consistent basis. And then we're building a foundation, like a community foundation within that niche, you know, where, you know, these are people that know us and like us and trust us. It's the beginning of a brand. Like we're building, I always say that we're building, this is the beginning of building like your very own distribution network. Like if somebody has a product and they go on Shark Tank, what do they need? They need stores, they need places to reach customers. Like they'll say, well, can you get into Walmart or can you get into Lowe's? And what's Walmart and Lowe's? Well, that's distribution. That's a place where the product can reach the people and reach the people that want the product. So what we're essentially doing when we're building that fan page and we're building that raving fan base and community is we're building the beginning of our own distribution network to use. And that's really powerful. And like Trey said, if that community is like a ghost town, if it's like an empty pizza shop, you're probably not going to stop by, and it's probably not going to grow on the popularity of that fan base, right? So the key to the engaging community is really driving engagement. And you know, we hear a lot of times, you know, from people that, oh, engagement's down or my reach is down. But realistically, what we always tell people is, well, is it down, or are people just mirroring what you're putting out? In other words, are you putting out unengaging stuff, or are you just using some software that's going to go pull a picture from some other person's website and it posts it up, and there's nothing engagement. There's no, you're not engaging with them, so maybe they're not engaging with you. But this community that is like a critical foundation here, and for another really big reason we're going to tell you here in a second. But having this fan base and these people that know and like and trust you and want to be in discussion with you. I mean, think about in the history of internet marketing, what's been the biggest thing they've said? Have a list, have a platform where people know, like, and trust you. We're really just doing the same thing. You know, do you think that Apple has a big fan base that they've built? Of course they do. But the key to, you know, having this community and having your pizza shop hopping when people drive by is being able to drive engagement and making it look cool. So Trey, we've got lots of these that really work well, but let's give everybody, for those of you that have moved past just putting up a page to sell your shirts on and have started building a community, what would be one like really big tip we could give here just on this call? Like, what's one of our strategies that you'd be willing to put out there right now that would just, you could just show people how simple it is to drive engagement and have them go test on their own? What would that be?
Well, the one thing, so before I share that, the one thing I want to hit on is that a lot of people I've seen, and you see it all over Facebook, especially with internet marketers on Facebook, is Facebook is doing away with organic reach. And they're like, you know, no longer is organic reach going to be something, it's all going to be paid ads. And the truth is Facebook only shows what is engaging. So if it's not getting shares, likes, and comments, then yeah, it's going to be hidden in your fan page. But if it's good quality content and everybody's out there sharing it, then Facebook would be dumb not to share it to other people. So that's one little myth that's, you know, I keep hearing going around and around the circle. But yeah, let's share two of our things. So what we do is we use little pinpoint tests. We have, like, I don't know even how many of these we have, but it's a ton. And we use these little strategies just to see, like, where our page is. And it's really good for, especially if you have a nice sized page and you're like, man, the engagement's down and I don't think the page is, you know, connecting anymore, or Facebook's destroyed my page or whatever. This is a great little test just to see if it's your content that you're posting or if it's actually the page. And one that I like to do is just ask the page, what state are you from? Question mark. That's it. What state are you from? Question mark. And we get hundreds, if not thousands, of comments within about a 24-hour period with that post. It works every single time. And that just shows that our page is well alive and thriving. And that's just a really good test. You can do that right now and let me know how many you guys got. And then another good one, Tony, is the two-word story. I love this one. And what we do is we create a really quick image, nothing big. Guys, like, keep it simple, right? KISS. So it's like an image on the left, and then it's the title of let's tell a story, or let's create a story. That's the headline. And then on the side, all you do is you say, you know, comment below 2 words to keep the story going, right? Keep the story going. Put in 2 words and let the story build the story with us. And then what I like to do is post that picture and then say comment below or go. And then I'm usually the first comment that says long ago ... And like, it's amazing the story that unfolds. Like, people are like, then there was a man who came from a giant kingdom of, you know, it just keeps on flowing. Like, people just keep adding to it. It's a great photo just to put up there, and your fan page just loves it because it's something they can interact with. And not only that, but they get to come back and read the story as it progresses. So those are really two really good engaging just like tests that you can do to your page.
You know, guys, we've got a million of those, but we would rather you get the concept here. When I say, you know, are you being engaging? A software that's pulling some random picture from some other page, is that engaging, or are you actually engaging with your community? Are you giving them the opportunity to engage? And when you start doing that, even if it's just simple little things like what Trey was mentioning, that begins to make that pizza shop look like there's a party going on in there. And that's what we want. You know, that's what we want, because that begins to set you up. It begins to build the know, like, and trust factor. It begins to establish your brand. It begins to establish that the page is active and all those cool things. But most importantly, what it does, you know, having an interactive page. Trey, why don't we click over here to the next slide?
Yeah, let's get that one going.
But most importantly, it allows us to use this page and this community that we're building as a laboratory, guys. We're using that as a laboratory. We've got a really simple process we use. We don't have time to go into everything around this, but we've got a really simple process that we use. Like, it's stupidly simple to know whether or not a shirt's going to sell before we design it and before we run ads to it, because we're using this page as a laboratory to figure out what that is. In other words, you guys, how cool would it be, or wouldn't it be cool to know whether or not your shirt's going to sell or not before you design it and before you run any ads to it? How cool would that be? Like, it's not that hard. In other words, we're not using the wet noodle strategy. We're doing the opposite. We're getting into markets that can support 300 shirt campaigns. We're building a community that knows, likes, and trusts us, that's interactive, and we're using that community then as a laboratory to determine what to sell and what not to sell. You know, I'm a business, as I mentioned, you know, we work with business owners, and if there's any plague that I see in businesses, Trey, you talked about the plague. If there's any plague I see of people looking to break out of corporate, is that they're so darn committed to selling what they think the market wants. Let me say that again. They're so darn committed to selling what they think the market wants, instead of just finding out what the market's already spending money on or what the market would be willing to spend money on and selling them that. And once again, that's like a slight little play on words, but super powerful, guys. If you take anything out of this call, it's stop trying to just guess at what to sell and start interacting in your market and find out what they're already buying, find out what they want to buy, find out from them what it is they're willing to invest in, and your business will shift immediately. You know, when we're selling 300 shirt campaigns, that's not a lot of shirts, guys. Like, if you already know that shirt's going to sell, hitting 300, even though that would be front page news in most Teespring websites, in our group, people are coming in and apologizing, like, oh man, I could have done a lot better. I didn't scale like you guys told me to. I was a little nervous. I only sold 302 shirts, kind of like tail between the legs. And we're like, dude, let's celebrate that, right? You just sold 300 shirts on your first campaign. Like, let's acknowledge that. There's no need to have your tail between your legs, but when you have a process to know what's going to sell and what's not going to sell because of the community that you've built, you know, it becomes a lot easier to hit those numbers because you're not just guessing anymore at what you're putting out. You're actually looking at, you know, you're getting feedback. Like, you're using this laboratory like a scientist to know what products to sell and what not to sell. You know, Trey, one of the best things that I've ever heard you say was, and I want you to talk a little bit about this. You know, Trade's selling a lot of shirts, obviously, and we're selling a lot of shirts, and you know, we're expanding our product lines. So Trade drove 3 hours to Kansas City to go to a trade show. Why don't you? And what did you do at the trade show?
Oh. Let's see. So we didn't even talk about the trade show yet, have we? So you have to know like who your avatar is, right? And the best thing you can do is go to them. And so we're in the gun space. That's not already out there, but we went to a gun trade show, and I took notes. Like I started taking notes on what everybody's wearing. What are people? You know, what kind of hat do they wear? What do they talk? Do they have beards? Do they wear glasses? How old are they? Do they have kids? What kind of gun are they wearing? You know, holstering. What kind of belts? Shoes? Like, not only am I taking these type of notes, but Tony, I can't express to you like the amount of wealth of nuggets I got from that trade show just by having my phone with me. And what I mean by that, but like, I don't know if you guys know what VSL stands for, like a virtual sales letter video or video sales letter. So like we'd walk around to tables, and I would just walk up to them and be like, hey, what's going on? And we were undercover, like we didn't have any of our shirts on or anything, and they're like, oh, you know, what's going on? And I said, well, what's your top selling product? I'm really looking to, you know, buy some nice things today, and I want something that's really cool, really fat. And they always point me, oh man, dude, I got these cool backpacks. You're not gonna believe these backpacks. I've been selling like 1,000 of them in each show. I'm like, really, 1,000 at each show? It's like, yeah,
really, backpacks
like,
sell, huh?
Backpacks really sell. Okay,
interesting.
Or you know, like, hey, and there's like t-shirt. There's actually t-shirt tables there, and I was like, hey man, what's like your most popular t-shirt? Oh, dude, I barely have one left. But let me show you this profound t-shirt. Like we just got in, and it's just like I can't even keep it on the table every show. I'm like, really? Let me see it. And like, it's amazing to start seeing like what your avatar is buying. Like, what are they looking for? What are they, you know, interested in? And then you take that knowledge, and you create your own type of product. You create your own type of thing. And that way you start to mold this avatar who you're selling to, and it just becomes easier and easier and easier to sell them. And Tony, man, like you ran over it so fast. I want people to really understand of what you said earlier when you're like, you know, what I think your phrase was, wouldn't it be cool to know whether or not a shirt is going to sell on your page before you ever create it, before you ever launch it? Like, whoa, like, oof, that has so much weight to it. Like, if you guys knew how to do that, wow, like that'd be huge. That's huge to know that stuff. And guess what? Guess who we're asking, right? Guess how we find that stuff out? We find that out from our raving fans, from the people who are around us, from the people who are using as avatars. Like, this isn't crazy rocket science stuff, guys. Like, this is
right.
Keep it simple. Keep it simple.
It's pretty basic. Like, we're not that smart of guys.
No,
I mean,
no.
we just have a different process. Like, we have a process, you know.
Yeah. Oh,
and
we repeat that process.
That's right. That's right.
Mm-hmm. And so, now I'm not the only one doing this. Like that might seem like a pretty cool idea, like to go to a trade show and think, you know, like I wish I came up with that stuff, but McDonald's was actually where I learned that from. And I didn't work for McDonald's, but I was watching this documentary on Netflix. By the way, Netflix is awesome, it's really cool documentaries. But I was watching it, and they were talking about launching this new burger and how it flopped, and how they never launched it to their franchises because of their in-house studies. And I was like, holy crap, that's an amazing idea. That's an amazing concept. So not only did they bring in their like most favorited fans of McDonald's, like the people who eat McDonald's every day, they fly them in, say, hey, we're doing this new burger. You want to try it out? Well, yeah, I'll try it out. All right, tell us what you think about it. Oh, that's awful. I've never eat that. So don't you think, like, if their most raving fans wouldn't eat the burger, why would anyone else eat the burger, right? It's the same thing like Red Bull. Like Red Bull, Mountain Dew. Mountain Dew advertises to young kids. Or no, it's Red Bull. Red Bull advertises to young kids, like a 20 to 30 generation. And the thing is, in gamers, it's a young generation who game. Now, other thing outside those walls is just pure profit. But the main core that who they advertise, who their avatar is a 20 or 30-year-old who games. It's all about knowing your audience, about knowing who your raving fans are, and asking them the profound questions. Someone, yeah, I use that word, Mike, thanks for that. But Mike says this concept is just so profound, like, love it. That would be cool. This is awesome. Like, why didn't I think of that? You know? So,
yeah. And the other cool thing, and we were obviously touching on it, but I want to bring it to a head, is when you've got this laboratory and you got these people that know, like, and trust you, and you've got a process for getting feedback from them, you know, you can start introducing other products and expand. Like, you know, we sell lots of stuff. We sell lots of physical products. There's lots of other ways you can begin to even monetize that page, whether it's through advertising and things like that, you know, goes into more of what we're doing on the back end. You know, and obviously we got to get you guys building a front end before we can talk too much about a back end, but there is a whole nother big picture that it's associated that is based on, you know, having this laboratory to work within. You know, so number one is getting into markets that can support 300 shirt campaigns and do those on a consistent basis. Number two is building that community and to start building that distribution network. Number three is using that distribution network and that community as your lab to understand what's going to sell and what's not going to sell, and having a process to do that. But then trade number four is then ultimately understanding how to scale the campaigns once you have a winning design. Because a lot of people reach out to me, and I tend to talk to a lot of the people that come into our mentorship, and a lot of people reach out to me and they'll say, you know what, Tony, I had a shirt that was selling, and you can go ahead and click ahead there, Trey. They'll say, Tony, you know what, I had a shirt that was selling, and I spent a little bit of money on Facebook, and I sold 50 right away, and it was really cool. Like, I threw a bunch of spaghetti against the wall, essentially. I found one that was selling. I didn't spend a whole lot of money on it. It sold 50. So I jacked my ad budget up, and Facebook spent all my money, and I didn't sell one other shirt. And I ended up breaking even on the shirt. Like, I chewed up all my profits as I was trying to scale. So the fourth foundational piece is just, you know, ultimately understanding how to scale those winning designs in a way that doesn't cut into the profitability of the shirt. So once you have something that you know is going to sell, you know, knowing how to scale that and run your ads and the metrics to look at, and how to know when to expand your audience or shrink your audience or spend more or spend less, to ultimately scale that campaign up to a point at which you can hit the 300, you can hit 500, you can hit 1,000, and do that without crushing all your profitability in the process. You know, Trey, I'll let you jump in because you're running, you know, all the campaigns and stuff. But you know, what tips can you give people around, like, just the scalability piece?
Yeah, I mean, is this helping, guys? Like, do you guys understand, like, the weight and the volume of what we're talking about here? Like, I actually saw somebody comment, like, I'm reading these comments while you're talking, Tony, but someone said how they spent quite a bit of money just on getting coaching on all the wrong way. Unfortunately, it's like, oh, here it is. I spent some serious money on training and always been taught the wrong way. I mean, that's just unfortunate right there. But I'm glad you're on this call and just kind of seeing, like, what else is out there. Like I feel as if, like, when this is brought to your guys' attention, it's just like, oh, that makes complete sense. Like, that is so basic, but yet so right. Right? Like, yeah, I mean, we got, yeah, like Jessica's saying, yeah, it totally makes sense. Great help for sure. That's awesome. It's great. Yeah. It's cool. It's fantastic. It's profound. Awesome. So, I mean, yeah, this is huge, right? This is huge. So, scaling intelligently, I mean, that's one big thing right there, is just knowing how to scale. So, one thing you said, Tony, is like, man, I got this winning campaign. Now what? Uh-oh. Like, I've never been here before. I've never had a winning campaign before. Now I got one. Now what? Well, it's time to scale. And a lot of people, well, I'd say the majority of people scale incorrectly. They scale the wrong way. They think that just by increasing their ad spend budget is the right way to scale, when in fact it's not. You know, we totally don't do that. And one thing I'll just kind of mention here is a way to like look at scaling, or how we look at scaling. And this is just like a little tidbit or a little nugget for you guys. But when people are doing their shirts with Teespring, the way it's set up now is that you can see how much you're going to get paid out. As if you sold 10 shirts, or you sold 20 shirts, or you sold 50 shirts, or 100 shirts, or whatever. Well, what Teespring shows is it shows you how much you're going to get paid out at that amount of shirts. So if you sold 10 shirts, they might say, hey, you're going to get, like $60. So it's like, okay, cool, I made $6 per shirt. So then they go back and they look, and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm spending $8 for a conversion. That means I'm losing $2 every time I sell a shirt. Ugh, that's not good. Shut down the ads. Shut down the campaign. It's not working. Blah. Next design. Well, what we do is we come in to the Teespring mindset of we will sell 300 shirts. We are going to sell 300. That's our mindset when we start to launch a campaign. And when we sell 300 shirts, we know that our margins are going to be way different than if we only sold 50 or 20. So when we're looking at a campaign, we're not looking at what we've made at a 10 shirt volume or a 20 or a 30 or 50 shirt volume, but it's what we're going to make when we sell 300 shirts. And that will just change drastically your statistics just looking at it that way. Like looking at it, and that's just a different perspective to look at your campaign, because when you sell 300 shirts, you're looking at a margin of like 12, 13, 14 bucks versus when you sell 10 or 20, you're looking at like not even that much, like $6 or $7 margin. So does that make sense to you guys? Yeah, that's huge. Yeah, really huge, Tanya. Yeah, scaling, that's where I need help. Awesome. Makes a lot of sense. Once you have a proven, yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, cool, guys. So that's all. Tony, does that make sense to you?
Totally, man.
Make that hit? Okay. Good. So, what are we missing here? Oh, I know what we're missing. I remember now. So the missing piece. So Tony, early in the call, I was talking about a couple things. So let's just kind of go over this, like the missing. What are those missing pieces? Because I'll tell you this, guys. Like I think you've all been on this call about an hour and a half now. So I really thank you for that. But there was one big missing piece. Like, I mean, I was in your guys' shoes, not even like a little over a year ago. Like it's been about a year and 3 or 4 months. When I was doing the same stuff you guys are, like I was going through the trenches, chopping down the big trees, trying to figure out like why isn't this working? Like what's not happening? What's going on? And I was like, there's like a missing piece. I always just felt like something was missing. Like there's that one little puzzle piece before it was complete. Like before like that huge just like push came. And I'm going to be flat out honest with you guys on what that was. And that piece was mentorships. And I just didn't get one. I got many mentorships. I had mentorships like from Adam Spiel to Tony, to Marty Ortiz, to Sean Lyman, to Carl White, Tanner Larson. I mean, the list goes on of the coaching that I invested in because I was determined for this to work. But the thing was, like, not just one coach had the full solution. So it took like 4, 5, 6 coaches to evolve this solution that I was looking for. So instead of being like one missing piece, it was actually like 5 or 6 missing pieces to where it all started to come together to now I have the full puzzle in place to where I've built this system that is a foundation to a long-term business. And that's just like, that's how it works. Like that was the missing piece. I was missing that mentorship, someone who could lead me, guide me, put me under I always call it like put me under their wing and just like hold me and just like say, hey man, here's what you're doing wrong. Here's what's going on. And that's why I think it's so important that we give back because it wasn't just me figuring this out. Like, it took a lot of coaches mentorship, and now it's like I've figured it out, and now it's time to relay the message. Is basically what I'm wanting to do there.
Totally. I talk about this a lot now. I surveyed. Trey and I are business partners. I'm business partners in some other stuff, and in my own personal business, we book anywhere between $300,000–400,000 a month in sales, and in various industries, various offers, and things of that nature. And I sat down, and I took a lot of time, and I did this, but I interviewed every single person I knew who was a six-figure a year to a six-figure a month earner in the online space, fully online, out of the 9 to 5, running their own business. And I asked them, and I looked for what the common denominator was amongst all of them. And 100% of them have been in mentorship the whole time they've been in business. And that's really an important piece, guys, whether that would ever be with us or anybody else. You know, we wanted to give you a good framework and perspective of what to be looking for, but I always like to give people some good tips around where you choose your mentors, because for those of you that have said, oh, I've already spent $5K doing this, I've already spent this money on this, I've already spent this money doing this, if you'd have asked yourself these 3 criteria, you probably would have saved yourself the money and at least kept that aside to get with somebody who could help you. But let me give you these 3 criteria here, and then we've got a quick little special offer for you guys. It's nothing for sale, and it's totally free. And then we'll open up for some Q&A, and we'll stay on as long as you guys need answering questions. You know, because we know you guys are going to have questions here. But those 3 criteria, you got to ask yourself, and even ask them, is this mentor actively doing what they teach and doing it at the levels that you aspire to? Not are they actively doing it, but are they doing it at, not only that, are they doing it at the levels that you aspire to do it at? Like, that's number 1. You guys write these down. It'll make you and save you a lot of money. Number 2, does this mentor have a stable of successful students playing at the level you want to be playing at? So some people can do it themselves, but all their students are failing. You know, that's what we see in the spaghetti strategy of design 10 shirts a day, 10 ad campaigns a day. You got your big team in India. You've been in internet marketing for 15 years, but are their mentees successful at it? You know, can they actually teach it? Or are they just so far ahead of you, what they're teaching is something that you can't implement? So that's the second thing. So number 1 is, are they actively doing what they teach? Like, in other words, if they've stopped, if you were, say, going to run a gym, or you were going to go to somebody to teach you how to fill your gym, like if you're a fitness professional, and your mentor doesn't own a gym, he used to own it, but he doesn't own it anymore, he doesn't do active lead generation for his gym, that's a red flag. He's out of the business and he's only selling the know-how. That's a red flag. You know, so are they actively doing what they teach, and are they doing it at the levels that you aspire to? Do they have a stable of successful students playing at the level you want to play? But then most importantly, this is big, guys, and this is another little play on words, but it's a powerful play on words. Are they making more money doing what they teach than teaching what they do? You know, if you remember at the beginning of the call, I talked about, you know, a lot of people learned a few strategies, sold a few shirts, and suddenly went out and became Teespring gurus. And there's this regurgitation of those same strategies being taught over and over and over by person after person after person. I bet if you really look closely at those people, are they making more money selling shirts, or are they making more money teaching how to sell shirts? Has their business model changed? They learned a few tips, can help you sell 10, 20 shirts? Or are they actually making a living? Are they actually building a sustainable business selling shirts and products online, or whatever it is that you're looking at getting help around? Those are the 3 big criteria that you guys want to look at. Because you guys, the thing you got to know is the information is the information. Having somebody there to show you how to apply that information and put that information into action is where the results come from. We could give you guys access to all of our trainings for free, and that actually happened. We call this the experiment by accident, but somebody in our group went out and created their own group, and they basically put up a Facebook page, and they put all the links to our trainings in that Facebook page, and they went out and started selling $10,000 seats to their Teespring training. And what they would do is they would say, go watch these trainings of this guy Trey, and then come to the call, and I'll teach you what this other guy's talking about. He didn't see anything wrong with that. Well, obviously we had a big problem with it. we ceased to desist him. We shut him down. We made him refund every single person that bought, and all those people basically came into our group, almost all of them. And the thing was, is all of those people that were in his group had the same information. It was the same information, and every single one of them, as we onboarded them, all their shit was wrong. Sorry about the language. All their stuff was wrong. Everything they were doing was wrong. Same information on both sides, just not the right mentorship, not a mentor who's actively doing what he teaches at the levels they aspire to, doesn't have a stable of successful students playing at the levels they want to, and isn't making more money doing what he's teaching. He's making more money teaching what he's doing. And that's what you got to look out for, because there's lots of people out there like that. And you want to look for guys that are the real deal that can show you, hey, look, you know, if their students are successful, they're going to be out talking about the club. They're going to be out talking about, you know, their numbers. They're going to be out showing you social proof of what's going on, and you guys want to pay special attention to that. But, you know, I do want to get to the Q&A here, guys. So, you know, we definitely dropped a lot of information on you here in the past hour or so. And you know, as I said in the beginning, there's only so much that you're going to get in 90 minutes. We do want to make a special resource available to you. You know, if you are serious and committed to tipping 300 shirt campaigns and doing those on a consistent basis and building a real long-term business out of this, you know, we'd like to, you know, offer some mentorship up to you guys for free. You know, you can go over to, write this down, and Trey, you can post it in the chat, but if you guys go over to Teespring Trey, Teespring, Trey, Teespring Trey, all one word, .com, you'll find a very simple form there. You know, we want to invite you to jump on the phone. You'll be pretty much jumping on the phone with me or one of our assistants, David, who's totally up to speed on everything that we're doing, and we're happy to talk to you about any one of these things we're looking at. Like, you know, in other words, you know, the key components of getting into the right markets and answering any questions you guys have around that. Building a community, how to use that community as a laboratory to sell more shirts, you know, scalability. If you guys have any questions about mentorship or anything like that, you know, we're more than happy. We're going to set aside, you know, we've only got, I mean, I've set some time up in my schedule here this next week. Spots are limited. You know, we want you to give us some information at Teespring Trey so we can come to the call prepared and understand what it is you guys want to accomplish. And, you know, if there's a way we can help you out or take things deeper, we can give you guys some details around that on the call. But ultimately, we know that you guys are going to have a lot of other questions and want to understand more about, you know, what we talked about here. And we're going to do some Q&A. We'll stay on the Q&A as long as we can. But if you guys want to go over to Teespring Trey and actually get on a call with me and talk about your business and talk about what's going on and talk about where you're trying to get and how we can help you out, you know, we would encourage you to do that. We'd love to do that as our gift to you. We've enjoyed having you on the call here, and we're really excited to see you guys actually move away from this really kind of hobby that maybe a lot of you have and be a support mechanism and be a mentor for you guys to actually move into turning this into a real business and seeing you guys make some measurable results going forward. And, you know, so once again, guys, if you want to head over to teespringtrey.com / or no, it's just teespringtrey.com. It goes directly there. You'll be able to jump on the call with us, and we'll be happy to answer or help you out in any way that we can. So, you know, Trey, should we open up to some Q&A?
Yeah, let's rock and roll it.
Cool, man. Let's see here. I'll read some questions, Trey, and you go ahead and is this only for people who have already gotten started selling shirts? That's from Wes.
Oh, already selling shirts. Okay, no. It's actually good both ways. Like, if you're selling shirts, that's awesome because we can start tweaking and things. But the other thing is like, we can teach you and train you on how to have good habits versus the bad habits. so you can start fresh. So I think it's, it works in either case.
Well, we start everybody. We do start everybody in the mentorship piece. Like, we can answer your questions on the call. Like, go ahead, Wes, and sign up. We're happy to chat with you.
Yeah.
But when we mentor with people, like, we start them from scratch, and start with that very first foundational piece of, hey, here's all the ways we come up with identifying the right niches. Here's the whole litmus test of stuff that we take those niches through, and here's how we start building that foundation and that community, and we just progress from there. Like, builds on top of itself. It's very kind of basic. Like, it's simple stuff that we're doing. Like, it's not rocket science. It's just got a little bit better structure behind it. So yeah, man, we'd love to chat with you about it. If you want to head over to Teespring Trey, and we can jump on a call with you.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what else we have here. What should you start with an ad budget? I've heard many different numbers.
An ad? Well, that's a good question. So you can't really do an ad budget anymore because all your ads are inside one ad set. So you're actually, I think, to rephrase your question, you just see like, hey, what's a good ad set budget? And so what we looked for is doing around $100 per ad set that we launch. The big thing here, guys, is kind of what we talked on scaling, is if you are doing a campaign, you really gotta look at the conversion numbers versus if you're just looking at like spending $10. I've seen this all the time. It's $10 per ad set, and then they're like, oh man, the campaign's awful. Well, you gotta give Facebook some time. But then again, Tony, I mean, the thing here with that question is, you're going to go away and do that and create that, but then another challenge is going to come up of whatever's happening next, because like the one-off questions, like I get private messages all the time that ask questions like that, like, hey, what's a good ad spend budget, or what's a good amount of likes for a fan page, or when's a good time to post to the page? And realistically, like, all those questions are good questions, but they really don't drive you to where you need to be. And that's where these phone calls are really so important, is to see like dig down into your business and see what you got going on and what you've been through, and not only like are you starting fresh, or do you have something in place, or are you going to a niche that you think is going to be profitable? And that way we can look at that and say, wow, you really got something going on here. Like, this is powerful stuff. Yeah, if we could show you a couple little tweaks here, that'd be fantastic. You'd be right on your way. And that's the whole point here, is like, get on a call with us. Like, let's have a chat. Let's see what's going on. What's happening in your life that's working, and how can we come together? How can we partner up and make this really rocket?
Totally. Let's see here. Let me look through the questions here. Results. Oh, Terrell says, what matters most? What matters most? Results. Proof. If you guys can show that, everyone on this call would be crazy not to get on a call and join you guys in the group regardless. Trey, can you? That's a great. I love that one. I'm happy. I did some sweeping of the forum the other day, just here recently. Trey, can you switch your screen over to mine? I'd be happy
I can
share.
Hopefully we don't lose anybody
about that.
Let me see. I have to scroll through everybody here and find you, Tony. Hold on one second. I think I found you. Okay, I think I gave it to you.
Guys, we won't take up too much time here because there's a lot. If results and social proof is what you can you see my screen, or let me know when you see my screen?
Yeah. You got the same background as me.
So, all right, let me go in here. I went and pulled a bunch of stuff, a bunch of screenshots here, because I think that's a great question. So all these here, just to give you an indication, all these here were screenshots I took out of the group, and then all of these here were screenshots I took out of the group. So there's a lot here. I won't be able to go through every single one of them, but we can click on some of these and just go through them here for shits and giggles here. Hold on. Let me make this bigger. Can you guys see these? Like, these are just screenshots I took of, celebrations that people were having in the group, just as some proof. I don't know You know, I see a lot of gurus out there talking about, you know, one case study that they sold 100 shirts, but you know, here's 989 of 300, and this is a long list, guys, but here's 350 of 300, tipped in 24 hours. My first T-shirt is a success, 171, 1,058, counting down the hours, 711, 500 of 200, 940, 266, 1,400, revenue of 19,000, spent about 500, boom, 163, 1109, 1376, 2,168, smashed my personal goals today. Just finished 2,226. Bad words, 1,000 T-shirt club, a third campaign ever, 14. Thanks for the help. 399, I'll take it. See, that's what I'm saying. It's like, I'll take it, kind of like I'm apologizing. I'll take it. 399 shirts, I'll take it. 351, my second campaign. 1077, 354, 1,700, 524, 304, first shirt using the strategy. 259, 102. Oh, that was 102 while he went and played poker. 50,000 likes. 953. 208, first shirt. 302, boom. 300. 509. Guys, it goes on. Oh, that ain't one. Popped my cherry. Scale's not great, but I learned a lot on this one. 301. 763, 2697, 2226, 2168, 350, 1376, 1400, and there's lots more here, guys. Like these are all I can click on any one of these going down. 1619, 69,000 in profits, 989, 634.
They said, I'm getting a lot of people saying, we get it.
All right. Cool, yeah, so.
We got the idea.
All right, Trey, you can go back to your screen, or we can leave it here and keep answering questions, so.
Sure, yeah. Let me see. I don't even know if I can swear. There we go. All right, let me see. I'll pop this up here. See, I had the same background, I told you. There we go.
You know, a lot of people are asking what kind of investment. You know, guys, it really just depends on where you are. We got a few different options. You know, probably the biggest thing about that is, you know, we don't take everybody on. You know, we want to jump on the call and chat with you guys and give you feedback, give you help. You're in the Teespring group, like we're going to be hanging out a little bit more, and we want to get to know you guys. So definitely take us up at teespringtrade.com. But you know, at the same time, you know, like. Let's say you were on a webinar with a doctor and he was talking about knee pain and you had knee pain, and you know, you were reaching out to the doctor, say at this point in the conversation, saying, well what would you recommend be the answer for my knee pain? You know, the doctor would have to diagnose you. Like, he'd have to have a conversation with you and really look at what's going on with you to understand where you fit best, where you would succeed best in the arsenal of what he had to offer. You know, so in other words, prescription without diagnosis would be malpractice. You know, so we don't want to sit here and commit malpractice on you guys. We want to, you know, jump on the phone and actually deliver some value and help you out. And if there's a fit there, you know, we can definitely tell you, you know, what that is and how that would work. But yeah, we've got a few different levels at which we work with people, and we'd be happy to chat with you on that, Ryan. If just go ahead over to Teespring Trey and we can have a chat. Will the call be can I have a chance to do what you guys are doing if I live outside the U.S.? I live in Vietnam. So we've got some people in Vietnam, don't we? But go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Locke was asking that.
Oh, sweet. Oh, what is? I thought,
what say ye?
Say the question?
Can I have a chance to do what you guys are doing if I live outside the USA? I live in Vietnam.
Oh, well, yeah. So Teespring's located here in the States. So we actually have quite a few people we have quite a few students who are actually not in the United States, and they do all of their, like, we have people in Australia, UK. I think we actually have some people like in England and then Thailand. We just got that guy in Thailand. But the thing is like, yeah, they use U.S. soil manufacturers, and that's how we do it. So we actually have a whole like system of how we operate that stuff, and we can kind of go over that on a call if you'd like. If that's something that you're looking into. I mean, you're going to be a little different than most, so that'd be something I think is more of like a one-on-one call with us to kind of discuss and see what your options are and to kind of move you through that system.
Yeah. So Derek's asking, good questions, guys. Derek is asking, should you use Google ads or Facebook ads? I mean, we're pretty much exclusively at this point. We're trying some different traffic sources, but we're pretty much exclusively using Facebook, aren't we, Trey?
Yeah. As long as we can scale the way we're scaling and making the money we're making, we're good with Facebook ads. Like, we haven't reached our cap yet. We keep on scaling our campaigns.
Yeah. Craig's asking, is it better to stay with something like Teespring or look at something like Profit Pro, thinking of being able to create lists and develop your own client list?
Yeah, I answered him, and I was saying to Craig, I was like, that is a great question. It's really kind of up to you. I mean, if you like Profit more than Teespring, I mean, that's really up to you. Same thing is going to apply, and our system is going to apply the same way. But the deal is, like, I think you might be going with Profit Pro just to get the email list and client list. And we've actually found out a little trick to implement with Teespring to actually receive all the email addresses that come in. So we've been doing that for quite a while now.
Don's asking if we have a sizable budget to be successful. Don, probably the biggest thing I'd tell you there is, that whole sizable budget thing comes into when you're using the spaghetti strategy. We do spend a little bit of time initially in building up that community. We probably spend, on average, I would say, we see people spending about $20 a day on average. If you spend a little more, you can build it up a little quicker. If you spend less, it might take a little bit longer, but $20 is. But then we're using that community. Remember, we talked about we're using that community to figure out what's going to sell and what's not going to sell. So we're not setting aside an ad budget to throw spaghetti against the wall and design 10 shirts a day and create 10 different ad campaigns and all that stuff we were talking about. Like, we're pretty much going out with knowing as much as possible that shirt's going to sell. And then we're monitoring our ad spend on a daily basis as we scale that shirt. So, there's not a big budget there. Our goal is to make make $1 for every dollar we spend. So, we would just, if the shirt's selling, which we can show you how, if the shirt's selling, then ultimately we're going to tell you to spend as much money as you can to scale that shirt. And if the shirt isn't selling, we're monitoring that on a daily basis, and we can cut that off immediately and go to the next thing in the queue. So it's not like we're setting aside this ton of money, but if the shirt is selling, we're going to tell you, dude, if you're making $1 or even 50 cents on every shirt that or on every dollar that you're spending on your ads, and we're going to be like, spend. Here's some things you can do to scale that out. Go out to broader markets, things like that. But it's not like there's this thing where you got to have 10 grand set aside because we're going to blow through 10 grand to find 3 shirts that will sell. We're using the community to figure that out. We're using our fan page and our marketplace to come up with that stuff like we were talking about. So it can kind of act as a safety net for you, because we're going to sell what people want, and we can show you how to know whether that thing's going to sell or not before we take it out, and that way we're not spending a whole bunch of money, or we don't need some big back ad campaign to go through all the spaghetti that was thrown against the wall, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So Trey, I don't know if you had anything to add to that.
No, that was great. Nope, that was fantastic.
Since not all shirts can be winners, which is true, how many failed or low selling shirts do you get weekly or monthly? Trey, I'm not sure we have any that don't hit at least 300, do we?
Oh, was that what the question was asking? Where do you see that one at? Because I thought they were asking how many shirts do we have fail per month. Or maybe that's two different questions. Which one?
Since not all shirts can be winners, how many failed or low-selling shirts do you get weekly or monthly?
Yeah. So we rarely get one. Like if we get one, I always say like if we're launching 10, we'll get like 1 out of 10 is usually the norm that'll fail, and that's just the life of it. But with the research that we do behind the shirt, I mean that goes with the thing that the foundation that we've built is to where we know the shirt's going to sell before we launch it, and that's the big takeaway there. Is we're launching shirts that are going to be a success before just throwing something out there and being like, well, I hope it does good.
Yep. So, if we're doing 5,000 to 10,000 shirts a month off of 7 to 12 campaigns, let's just say for rough numbers, I don't have a calculator here in front of me. Let's say we average 500 shirts a campaign. But realistically, you guys know that are selling shirts. It's not like every campaign is 500. One might be 300, one might be 800, one might be 200, one might be 1,500. Like it's gonna, like that's the reality of what the scale actually looks like. But we don't have, because we are doing our homework and we are engaged with the community and we are using that community to getting feedback from that community to dial those designs in before we're spending a bunch of money on them. So our stuff generally does sell. We have very few people who I don't think we've had anybody not sell shirts. It's getting things dialed in, and being strategic with what you're putting out there. So Julian, I hope that answers your question, buddy. And if not, let's just grab a call and we can chat.
Hey, Tony, you answered this one pretty good. They're asking if you don't have the funds now, what would you advise someone?
Well, I would advise you guys, that's a great question because we do get that right now, and I can so appreciate that. We can all appreciate that.
Yep.
Here's the advice, though. Like, if what you're doing isn't working, like the mentors you're working with, the products you're buying, the ads that you're running, the designs you're putting out there, the money you're spending to drive traffic, if that's not getting profitable, stop spending your money on it. Like continuing to do what isn't working in hopes that it will just suddenly start working is not a good financial business strategy for you guys to be taking, or for you to be taking if it's just one person on the call that's actually doing that. My suggestion would be to set money aside and take what isn't working and continue to get cash flow positive in your life, And I say this with as much love. I say this with a ton of love, because we do have people that reach out and want to mentor and want to really take this to the next level, and they don't have the resources, and they're like, I got 50,000, or that's probably a lot, but I got 5,000 in credit card debt. I go in debt each month even further. I can barely keep my head above water. And the reality is guys, starting a business isn't going to solve your money problem. It's only going to magnify the problems that exist. So if you're looking to grow this business as a solution to the financial problems that you already have, guys, like do yourself a favor and look at your personal finances. I say this all the time. If you can't run your personal finances to a point of profitability, then there's like no chance. There's literally, and I say this with love, like because I care about all you guys, there's no chance you're going to run a business to profitability if your life's profitability is all screwed up. They're the same thing. They really are the same thing. You've got expenses, and you've likely got some income coming in, and your expenses are outweighing your income if you're in debt. And it's just something that has built up over time. You've got to begin to look at how you can run your life and your income and your current expenses to a point of profitability, and begin putting that money away. Like that's the moving towards wealth. Trey and I are cash flow positive, and that gives us opportunities to invest in things like real estate and other businesses that can generate even more revenue. Like that revenue can start to compound out itself. We started out setting aside money, and we got cash flow positive in with our jobs and with what we were doing to invest in mentorships and to get around people who can hold a higher vision and who can guide us through the pitfalls and the ups and downs of things. So that would be like my main advice is, you know, get your expenses lowered in life. Take on a second job, like get your income up somehow. You know, live below your means. People look at, you know, the kind of revenue that we make, and they're like, why aren't you living high? It's so way more high off the hog, Tony. You know, why aren't you doing this and doing that? Well, you know, I like to take that money and invest it into things, whether I'm investing in myself, or whether I'm investing in employees that can help us grow our revenue, or whether I'm investing in real estate or stocks or bonds. Like, you know, it all starts with just getting a cash flow positive scenario in place and then looking for the right ways to invest that. And that's really key, you know, and I hope you guys, you know, gain a lot out of that. If you are in that situation, obviously we got a lot of people on the call here that are like, hey, I'm just looking for the right opportunity to do the right thing, and I'm good. And other ones are like, hey, you know, what advice would you have if I was in that situation? That's totally what I would. You know, get your life profitable, and look at where you can invest the profits from that in something that, you know, passes the sniff test. If it's mentorship, I gave you a great sniff test. If it's a piece of real estate or another investment, do that. If it's in stocks and bonds, do that. But, you know, get some guidance and do things the right way, and you know, things will continue to work out for you. So hopefully that answers your question. What's the best way to start fine-tuning your demographic for Facebook ads, and do you use Ad Espresso method? And interested to narrow down a demo so you can find users that like X and Z. Frank was asking that. I'm not 100% sure what he's asking here, Trey. But what is your best way to fine-tuning demographics for Facebook and that sort of thing? What would you say to that, Trey?
Yeah. Where was that? I saw that one too. I think I answered that one as well.
Were you answering these like in chat, Trey?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You can see the if you open your chat up, you can see the answers to them all.
Gotcha.
So I've been vicariously going through here and seeing what I can get with everybody. So yeah, if you guys are just joining us, looks like a lot of people just joined. Maybe they got the times wrong. What we have up here is we just went through a huge, like almost, I guess we're running on 2 hours now, of teespringtrade.com, and get on a call with us and just like, you know, it's free. The call doesn't cost anything, and just go on there and just have a chat with us and look. Like, the best thing that we can do is just see what you're doing, like what's going on, and go from there. Like, that's the biggest thing. Because, I mean, there's so many people that we've seen here come through here, Tony, that looks like I'm doing the wet noodle thing, I'm going after these, I don't have a business, I can't sell this thing, it's just me. I mean, those are all great questions that we could totally go over, because it's more of like a personal one-on-one questions. Those type of questions are, because it's directed to you directly versus a broad audience. Do you feel that same way, Tony?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, sweet. So Brian looks like he's rocking and rolling. I don't even, have you looked, Tony? Do you even have spots left? I know you only like grabbed a few spots out of your calendar. I don't even know how many you opened up. We might be just full, and which is fine. We can still take Q&A here.
Well, I'll open up some more, but you know, there have been quite a few people that have reached out here. You know, probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Probably, you know, I probably opened up about I'd say 20, 22 maybe, somewhere in that range. So you know, those will fill up here pretty quick, guys. But I don't mind continuing to answer these questions here if you guys are liking this.
Yeah, I think so. Everybody's having a good time. Thanks for everybody staying on the call. This is actually, I have to say, this is probably a record webinar for me. I don't know about you, Tony, but usually my calls are only like about an hour, and this one's just been full of awesome people, awesome questions, and we had a lot of good content here, so awesome stuff. So Martin, I don't know if you came in late. He's asking about scaling properly. The big thing is looking at, you know, how you're looking at scaling, like how are you driving your numbers. And we actually have like a full week's course just on knowing how to scale. So it's not like a quick answer like, oh, you just look at your CPC and you're good to go. Like, no, it's a full, drawn-out, like, deep analytic. I think you've seen those videos, Tony, of, like, our deep-down analytics of how deep we go and how you start pinpointing, like, targeted things. I mean, it took us a long time to figure it out, but, like, one tip I could give you on scaling, Martin, would be, like, don't look at selling just 20 or 30 shirts. Look at it as if you're going to sell 300, and your margins are going to be way different than when you're selling 20 to 30 shirts. So you need to correspond with that, and as well as, be ready to spend $100 per ad set versus $10. I see so many people coming in and just spending $10 on an ad set and being like, oh, I guess this was a flop. Like, you didn't even give Facebook a chance to even, like, optimize. So, and that's a good thing. Like, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know, like, what you mean by scaling. Maybe you're already tipping like 50, 100 shirts. So the best thing is, just, like I said, like, get on a call with us and let's see what you're going. Let's open the books and see, like, what's going on in your biz, and just have that real quick chat and see if we can help or not. And if not, that's fine too.
Yeah. And guys, we're trying to work through. We can see like 4 messages at a time here. Red asked, how fast can I set up a lab?
Hold on. I think Red didn't want that one read.
Well, basically, how fast can I set up a lab and get profits rolling?
Okay, yeah.
And basically, it takes about, you start seeing an ROI and you start getting those things rolling, typically in like in the 4 to 6 week range. So we're building up that community. We're showing you how to interact with that community. We're giving you the stuff to drive reach and to drive engagement and things like that. And it's based on the stuff that we're putting out there that we're coming up with, coming up with our shirt ideas and dialing those in. And, it's not the glamour stuff of running the campaigns and selling shirts. But when people are coming to us wanting to do 300 shirt minimums and do those on a consistent basis, the thing that they always want to move, just kind of breeze through, is the foundational piece that actually allows us to build this into a sustainable business and build a back end and do this consistently. So we do take a good amount of time up front to build that laboratory, Red, so that we can get things cranking. But it's different for each people. Some people have been doing Teespring a long time, and we can show them what to be doing on just some of their old ways of doing things to scale things up and start making more money earlier. And then some of you that might just be starting from scratch, it'll take that full 4 to 6 weeks to get the right foundation in place and things like that. But that's probably about the range. Is in that 4 to 6 week range, we'll start cranking things out.
How long does it take to get a brand new page to 10K fans? Man, I've seen, it really depends on how much you're willing to put in the ante. If you're wanting to spend $10 a day, or if you're wanting to spend $100 a day to get your fan base to 10K. I've seen people do it in a week. I've seen people take a month and a half to 2 months to get to 10K. So it really depends on how well you know your niche that you pick, the passion of the niche, and how much you're willing to spend towards getting those likes and that fan base. And there was a great question. I hope everybody saw my answer to this one. But the question was, it's done right. How much money would it take to get your fan page to 10K likes? And the better way to look at this is, how much is a fan worth to me? And that's just a great way to look at that, because if you have 10,000 fans, and let's say you sold some T-shirts that month to them, and you brought in $3,000, that means every fan is worth 30 cents per month, or $3.60 per year. Now, if that holds true over 100,000, usually it grows. But if you did that for 100,000 fans, that's a $360,000 fan page a year. That's a pretty nice little business.
Totally. Kathy's asking, do you provide ways to track campaigns carefully and manage pages? Do you offer structures for outsourcing and ways to set these structures up?
Yep, we have all that stuff. And that's something we can, again, I don't know your personal situation, so I'd love to get on a call with you and see what you've got rocking and work that out. And you can get on a call, that's a good question. She's asking how to get on a call. Just go to teespringtrade.com, and there's a little form there you just fill out, and that'll put you in our schedule, and you get on a call, like a one-on-one call with us. There's no cost to do that.
Luke's saying, I think Luke has posted a few times about having a page of 10,000 fans. Facebook unpublished it. He says it was in the gun niche. Do you teach how to never let this happen again? Like, in other words, if he starts in a new niche or starts over in a niche, like, you know, what do we got that's going to help him from having that happen again, Trey?
What's he saying? Like his gun page went off online or something?
Or second rights or Second Amendment type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, we have quite a few gun pages that we advertise to, and we've not had anything like that happen. So I'm assuming there was something that happened that was doing it wrong, or going against terms of service, or an ad was showing the wrong way, or you're advertising the selling of guns. Maybe you're helping a friend out. Maybe there's a private message of selling a gun. I don't know. But that can cause that type of thing. Like Facebook's pretty strict about those gun pages. So you just got to be careful of. I mean, you're walking a fine line just with a gun page alone, because terms of service does not allow guns, the sale of guns or anything, or gun of ammo, or advertising. So it's a pretty fine line with those gun pages. But I would just make sure that you're following the terms of service, and we read through those actually on the calls with the students, and we look at the terms of service, what you can and cannot do, and make sure that your accounts are banned. And Tony, I don't think any of our students yet, knock on wood, have got their accounts closed down. If they have, I don't know about it.
No, but I'm not aware of anybody.
Okay, yeah, me neither. So yeah, I mean, all of our stuff is white hat guys. Like, we're not doing anything crazy. We're not doing any black hat junk, like, you know, getting our accounts banned and trying to do different credit cards and different PayPals. Oh my God, what a nightmare. Again, that's not a business, right? Like, no one from Shark Tank is going to come in and be like, I want your business. How many credit cards do I have to set up a month, and how many PayPal accounts do I have to create a month to run this business once you leave? Like, that's just not going to happen. Let's see. So Jessica's asking, how heavily have you leaned on Teespring for advice? I don't know what kind of advice you would be getting from them. I mean, we talk directly to Teespring, I'd say probably every other day, just with account issues, just like, you know, getting a shirt up or getting a shirt down, or, you know, getting payment, or relaunching or something like that. But I mean, they've never come to us and said we should run an ad a certain way or anything. They do have those beta test stuff, though, which I think is pretty cool. So we get to see a lot of the stuff that's coming out before it goes live. Oh, Jennifer's asking about another seminar for Power Editor, how to use Power Editor. That's a great question. We use Power Editor all the time.
Yeah, that's a big part of everything. John says, I have a small fan page of 15,000 fans. Is it possible to sell tees without advertising?
What was the question?
John says he has a small page of 15,000 fans, which is a good-sized page, depending on what it is, John, to get dollarizing. So I'd love to understand what that is if you wanted to hit Teespring, Trey. But is it possible to sell tees without advertising?
Yeah, of course. You're just not going to sell that many of them. You're not going to be, you know, it depends what your goals are. Like, if you got a nice sized page and you're working it, like, can it be done? Yeah. Like, can you sell some shirts on it? Yeah. But if you're wanting to build a business, scale it, push it really hard, you know, and get to these 1,000 campaigns and these 300 campaigns, then you're going to have to, you know, put money into it. And the thing is, like, we have rules that we have created to where, you know, we're making sure that your campaigns are in line to where every day you're looking at a specific assortment of numbers to make sure you're on the right track. Because you don't want to be heading for a cliff and then all of a sudden wake up one day and you're in the hole. And that's one thing that, you know, we can kind of discuss on a call as well, is just kind of look at what you got going. Maybe, you know, I don't know what the fan page is about. Maybe it's about, you know, staplers. Well, that might be way different than a dog page or a fishing page or a scuba diving page. You know, it really is a personal question there. But not to mean like get on a call with us and just, you know, whatever works with your schedule, we'll look over it and see what you got working.
Yeah. Do you run?
Mike,
Sorry,
Mike
go
has
ahead,
a
Trey.
good Mike has a good question here. How many 10,000 member fan pages can one person manage effectively? Here's the deal, Mike. Like, we're not looking to create a string of fan pages. We run just 2 pages. That's it. And those pages are like almost, I would almost say, a bottomless pit, just as long as you put the right offer in front of them. So we're only managing 2 pages. This isn't like we have 30 pages or 100 pages that we're managing. That'd be just insane. So we just manage 2 and do just fine off of them.
Yep, it's all about, like we were talking, going deeper than trying to make a little bit of money in a lot of different niches. Like, we haven't even talked about the fact that we're selling up physical products and other products and things like that to the people that are buying shirts, right? We've built a community of people who have proven to be buyers. Well, what's next? So you can sell them other things. There's other things that they buy associated with their specific interests and passions. So the answer to scaling, even if you were doing 5,000 to 10,000 shirts, for us hasn't been, why don't you guys just go in a whole bunch of other markets, which kind of gets back to that scarcity stuff we were talking about, like, oh, aren't you afraid you're going to saturate the market with shirts? Well, no, because we're going deep in a marketplace. We're building a brand in that marketplace. We're building trust in that marketplace and community, and we're providing good product, and we're going deeper in our products. We're not expanding out into 100 different things. Like, think about this. If you look at the way, this is the difference between the internet marketing bright, shiny object and growing a real business. And the difference is internet marketing is like, where can I go make the next quick buck? Well, I got one fan page that's making me a few bucks. So if I can have 100 fan pages, I can make, a few $100. Like, it's like, that's the mentality. Like, where can I go chase that bright, shiny object? Where in reality, real businesses grow in a specific market. Microsoft, look at Microsoft. Microsoft sells software. And they've got into some devices associated with the software platforms that they sell. But they didn't jump into keyboards, they didn't jump into bikes, they didn't jump into cars, they build a community, they build a fan base, they build a marketplace, they build a distribution network, and they continue to sell, they continue to go deep into that marketplace and to that avatar, and not complicate things in 100 different ways. Look at Apple. They go deep into a marketplace. Like any business that's been around or sustainable, if you look at like actually running a real business, it isn't, as a business, how can we go be 100 different things to 100 different people? They're like, how can we go be the best at one specific thing? And then as the needs of our client base develop, and they need other things that we can easily bring in, then we start to slowly expand our product suite and build our brand. But if you look at Apple or you look at Microsoft, what are they doing? They're just coming out with 2.0, 3.0, 4.0. They're staying in the same lane to the same customers, selling them more stuff because, eventually the market buys their stuff. Like, that's why iPhone 4 comes out, because then everybody that had iPhone 3 now goes and gets iPhone 4. It's like the new thing. If all they ever had was iPhone 3, then eventually sales would slow. So they continue to go deeper in that marketplace. And that's really what we're doing too. And that's how we would highly recommend you guys, begin to set your businesses up. Look at it from a much longer term perspective. Trey, we probably got time for a few more questions here.
Yep, I keep forgetting to scroll down. Let's see. So it looks like people are asking, like, do we do mentoring? Do we do coaching? Do we have slots open? Yes, we do.
Kind of all the above. If you want to, we'd be happy to, share those details with you. Just grab at teespringtrade.com. Mainly we're working with people initially over 3 months, and we're basically holding their hands through this process. It's very intimate. There's no lack of access to us. There's a masterminding component to it. There's a coaching component to it. There's all all the attention you get is specifically from Trey to your specific situation. We've got a community of people who are totally badass that are making a full-time living out of this, that are about to be making a full-time living at that you know are happy to support. Like, we've got our little family here. Like, there's a lot of little cool components we got to it. Too much to really go into like a ton of detail here. More than just, you know, let's have a quick conversation. If you're interested, you know, head over to teespringtray.com and let's chat.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Let's see. Oh, Jessica said she added us to LinkedIn. Jessica, I am never on LinkedIn. I'm always on Facebook. That's the easiest way to like catch me. I think LinkedIn still shows that I work for like an insurance company. So I haven't updated that for years. But thanks for the ad. I appreciate it. Let's see. What else we got? Do you see any other ones that we're missing? I mean, I think most of these are just kind of hopping over questions that we were already answering. I'm just kind of going through here.
So guys, if you're still on, like, we really appreciate it. We really know that you're getting a lot of value on it if you're still on here.
Mm-hmm.
If you have any other questions, you know, because we've been on about 2 hours and 20 minutes here. If you have any other questions, go ahead and just you know, go over to our Facebook pages and send us a PM. Post your questions on the wall. You know, we'd be happy to answer any questions you guys have. If you guys want to send me a personal email, my personal email is Tony, T-I-E, F as in Frank. I'll type it in right here, Tony Teef @gmail.com. That is my personal email. Happy to talk to you guys, answer any questions, PM us on Facebook. Guys, if you do any of those engagements that we gave you to drive engagement on your fan page, come on our fan pages or come on our personal Facebook pages and tell us the results that you're getting. Like, you know, we're grateful to have you guys in the Teespring T-shirt group. We know we're going to be getting to know a lot of you guys a lot more, and gals a lot more in depth and a lot more intimately, and we're going to be sharing. And now you guys have a good framework. So when we start doing little deeper dive trainings around specific aspects of this process, so you guys, you'll have like the roadmap, the bigger picture view of what we're doing, and we can continue to you know, add value to you guys. We really appreciate you being part of the group, and we're really excited to get working with some of you. And I'm ecstatic of the number of you that have reached out so far, and we're excited to be able to help you take your business forward with a simple process and an intelligent way. So Trey, I don't know if you have anything else to add to that, and we can wrap up here.
Yeah, I accidentally hit TK here. TK, yeah, he was saying, hey, you mentioned there's a freebie at the end of the call. That the freebie is the one-on-one call with us. I mean, we charge quite a bit of money just to have those calls, and so just because you guys are in a group, in the Teespring T-shirts group, this webinar was just for you guys, this call. So that's why we're putting it out there for you guys, is to have a call with us and just kind of look over what you got going on and seeing what you're wanting to do with your business, where you're wanting to go in 2015.
Awesome.
Cool, guys. Awesome.
Well, thanks, guys. Come with us with other. If we didn't get your question, just reach out to us directly on Facebook or send me an email here, and we'll be happy to answer your questions. And head on over to teespringtray.com if you want to have a quick chat. And we look forward to seeing you guys grow here, and we're looking forward to really turning this group into something special.
Yep. See you guys. Take care.
Take care.